Welcome to the Hotel Neon Sign, the place where our boy claims his life officially goes up in flames. He is calling this the day he got thrown straight into hell. Just moments ago, things were looking up as Yu and Karen cuddled in bed. They were busy exchanging sweet words and soaking in the romance. Karen gave him a playful sign before heading off to take a shower. Yu stayed behind on the bed, his heart doing backflips while he watched her go. He flopped onto the pillows with a massive grin on his face. Spending the night at a love hotel felt like the ultimate win for him. Karen is his first college girlfriend, and he thinks she is the most admirable person ever. While he was vibing, one of the phones nearby started buzzing. He reached for the phone thinking it was a message from his mom. His face went pale when he realized it was Karen's phone, and the notification on the screen looked suspicious. Two messages from a guy named Daku popped up on the lock screen. This dude was asking if Karen was free and saying he really wanted to see her. Staring at the screen, Yu's heart drops. He cannot believe what he is reading. The guy is Kamakura Tetsuya, a high school senpai who is already dating the most beautiful girl in school. The messages confirm he and Karen have been meeting up regularly. Yu stares in horror. Even with a goddess for a girlfriend, this guy had the nerve to lay his hands on Karen. He sits in silence on the edge of the bed, his world crumbling with every scroll. The more he reads, the more he realizes his relationship was a lie. Just to make sure he has proof of the cheating, he saves their chat photos to his phone. Karen calls out from the bathroom announcing she is finally done with her shower. She steps back into the room only to find the bed empty. Outside, the bright signs of the hotel district feel like a cruel joke. Walking aimlessly through the crowd, the pieces finally fit. Every strange excuse she ever made was just a cover for her betrayal. Karen was pulling the wool over his eyes with every single excuse. Whether it was meeting a friend or finishing an assignment, it was always a lie to meet up with Kamakura. Yu has finally had enough. If they want to play dirty, then he's ready to return the favor. Staring at his phone, he decides to call Kamakura Tetsuya's girlfriend, Tuko, as a dark plan slowly takes shape in his head. Our boy is officially entering his reverse NTR arc. Tuko is studying late into the night when she gets an unexpected call. She picks up, confused why Yu would be reaching out at this hour. He skips the small talk and screams for her to sleep with him. The sheer audacity of the request leaves Tuko speechless. She cannot believe he just made such a wild demand out of nowhere. Later on, Yu's best friend Ishida is stunned. He cannot believe Yu had the guts to say that to the campus queen. Slumped over at a cafe, Yu admits he has lost his sanity. Finding out about the cheating right after they were together was the final straw. Ishida is dying for the details on how the campus queen reacted to that wild request. Our boy just stares at the table, paralyzed by his own stupidity. Back then, reality hits as he scrambles to apologize for the insane demand. Tuko just calls out his name from the other end, cutting right through the panic. Over at her desk, she sets her pen down and asks for the real reason behind the outburst. She wants to know what is actually going on. Panic and embarrassment take over, but she stays perfectly composed. She tells him it is okay, and that she knows he is not the type of guy to say stuff like that without a reason. Settled in for the night, she offers a gentle smile and promises to hear him out. The floodgates finally open. He cannot stop the tears from falling as he grips the phone. He finally breaks and lays everything bare, from the anger to the bitterness of the betrayal. She does not say a word, just staying on the line until he finally runs out of breath. Tuko stays perfectly composed as she tells Yu to calm down and wait until they can meet in person tomorrow. She makes him promise not to tell a single soul what happened until they talk. Inside, a roadside Danny stands out against the pitch-black night as Yu finishes explaining exactly what the campus queen told him. Yu admits he only reached out because Ishida is the one person he can truly trust. Ishida admits he was worried after the sudden late-night call, but he is glad Yu didn't try to carry this burden alone. Ishida flashes a supportive smile and promises to keep everything confidential while helping out however he can. He knows how draining it is to carry a betrayal like this without any backup. Over a hot meal, Ishida gets right to the point and asks if Yu actually plans to follow through with his wild demand to the campus queen. Yu nearly chokes at the blunt question. When Ishida asks if he has any real proof of the cheating, Yu pulls out his phone to show the screenshots, which he took earlier from his girlfriend's phone. Ishida teases him for being a bit of a wuss, but the gravity of the evidence is undeniable. A waitress drops off their order, shocked that anyone would eat a steak this late at night. Yu doesn't seem to mind the hour, but Ishida makes it clear that his friend is definitely footing the bill for this midnight meal. The campus queen finally shows up at the cafe with a coffee in hand. She apologizes for the delay, but Yu is way too stunned by her presence to even process the words. He immediately goes into full panic mode, waving his hands and insisting she is not late at all. She takes her seat with perfect composure while our boy struggles to keep it together. Yu tries to apologize for his wild outburst from the night before, but she is not interested in excuses. She just wants him to spill the beans as fast as possible. The vibe shifts instantly as he brings up the cheating scandal involving Tetsuya and Karen. It is time to get down to business. She stays cold as ice while sipping her drink, barely reacting to the heavy news. After a long silence, she looks him in the eye and asks for the one thing that matters, actual proof. Yu pulls out his phone to reveal the chat screenshots he managed to capture. One look at the screen is all it takes for her calm exterior to finally crack. A heavy silence falls over the table as she scrolls through the evidence. The reality of the situation hits her like a truck, leaving her completely speechless while Yu just waits for her reaction. Tuco is not buying it, claiming there is no real proof the cheating actually happened. Our boy immediately snaps back, waving his phone and insisting the receipts are right there. She suspects this is just some elaborate prank or a repeat of a lie she has heard before. Yu finds that hard to believe since he knows his girl is not smart enough to pull off a scheme like that. Tuco makes it clear that if he is telling the truth, she is done with her boyfriend for good. She just refuses to give him any leverage to accuse her of doing the same thing. Holding up two fingers, she explains that cheating back would just ruin their grounds for blaming the traitors. MC is still stuck trying to process her cold logic. Our MC admits her logic is solid, but he asks her if it does not feel totally unfair to just sit back and take the loss. The campus queen stays silent as the weight of the situation finally starts to sink in. He finally reaches his breaking point, shouting that he is frustrated and refuses to let things end like this. This pure anger is exactly what Tuco was looking for as her third reason. Forget a simple breakup, this girl is out for blood. She declares that she is going to make her boyfriend regret ever being born. Tuco's dark aura is getting heavier by the second. She isn't just looking for a simple breakup. She wants to bury her boyfriend in a mountain of regret. The intensity drops as she takes a sip of her coffee and apologizes for losing her cool. Our boy takes the opening to ask what kind of proof they actually need next. The thought of love hotels and private investigators makes the whole situation feel much more real. It sounds like she might be planning to take her own boyfriend to court. She keeps it strictly analytical, noting that the cheaters have probably only met up a few times so far. It is impressive how much she can pull from a simple message history. She makes it clear that being emotional is a liability right now. If he wants to pull off a revenge plot this big, he is going to need a lot more mental toughness. Pointing to the chat logs, she explains that their secret meetings are actually pretty rare. They seem to be sticking to a very specific schedule to avoid getting caught on weekends. Her detective skills are on another level as she basically solves the whole case in minutes. A sudden slam on the table signals that it is time for him to pay attention to the next phase. Tuco narrows down the possible meetup days to Monday and Thursday. She warns that any sloppy spying will just put Karen on high alert. Getting uncomfortably close, she tells him to flag any location that Karen mentions out of nowhere. If she gets weird about certain spots, it is a major red flag. To keep things secret, she wants him to set up a private social media account through a browser. They are playing the long game and will not strike until they have a perfect opening. She makes it clear that any talk of revenge only happens after they have cornered their partners with proof. The mere mention of it sends our MC into a total blushing frenzy. Tuco immediately clarifies that she is not saying she will actually do anything with him. He needs to stop misunderstanding the situation before things get awkward. Our boy is genuinely impressed by how strong she is being right now. He thinks back to his own desperate shouting and feels a little embarrassed by the contrast. Underneath the cold logic, she admits that she still wants to believe in her boyfriend. She just needs to see the truth for herself before she can let go. The weight of betrayal is heavy as the happy memories of their partners loom over the scene like giant shadows, a harsh reminder that the people they trusted most were the ones leading double lives. Watching Tuco handle the situation with such quiet strength makes our boy realize how much he is lagging behind. Time to stop being weak. He resolves to finally be the support she needs for the road ahead. The story kicks off with a classic university setup where our boy meets Karen in a campus club. This is where the long road of betrayal actually began. She catches him in the act and calls him out for all the stolen glances. Even when she offers him a polite exit, the atmosphere between them is thick. Deciding to be bold, he confirms the attraction is a two-way street. The reaction he gets is worth every bit of the nerves he felt. From there, the bond only grows stronger. It felt like they were both being pulled toward the same destination by some invisible force. Everything felt perfect. At the time, he was absolutely convinced she was the only one for him. Flashback to 3 months ago at the arcade. The stakes were high as they zeroed in on a specific prize in the claw machine. Total victory. The crane finally secures the win and sets the tone for their early days together. Karen shows off her new prize, and our boy plays it cool by claiming he is just naturally talented at these games. She gives the bear a big squeeze and thanks him, leaving Yu completely dazed by her smile. As they hit the streets, Yu suggests getting a bag for the giant plush, but Karen is perfectly happy carrying it as is. She admits that walking home with a prize has always been a dream of hers since she is usually terrible at claw games. She gives him a sincere thank you for making her dream come true, which lands like a direct hit to his heart. Karen wonders if she is being a bit too childish, but after some stuttering, Yu tells her that her happiness is all that matters. The pair continues their date through the city, finally deciding to head to a diner for their next stop. Karen is laying it on thick, telling him that as long as they are together, she is having a blast. Yu is definitely feeling himself after that one. Back at university, Yu remembers the hype about who would win the campus queen title. In the middle of class, his friend Ishida is already tired of hearing about their lovey-dovey relationship. Yu hits him back with a reality check, asking if he was actually serious about that pageant stuff. They are university students now, after all. Our boy drops some deep wisdom, claiming that simple adoration and real love are on two separate levels. Ishida sighs, admitting he is just salty because Yu became so full of himself the second he got a girlfriend. Yu just shrugs it off, saying he has every right to brag. Yu drops the ultimate bombshell that Karen is staying over this weekend because her parents are out. Ishida's brain immediately goes to the exact same place yours just did. Blushing like crazy, Yu admits they are planning a hotel trip. Ishida loses it and jokingly puts him in a headlock, shouting about how he cannot believe Yu beat him to it. Yu looks back at their hand holding as the peak of his life. That happiness died the second he saw the cheating evidence on her phone. Back at the family restaurant, Karen sips her drink and calls out to him. She asks if he has been cutting corners lately, leaving Yu totally stunned. Karen complains that their routine of arcades and karaoke always ends at this same diner. She asks if he plans on becoming a regular here, while Yu tries to process the sudden attitude. Yu argues that this is normal for university students, but she shouts that it is definitely not a thing. Karen claims other couples go on much fancier dates. Yu is left speechless, wondering who she is comparing him to. She tells him she cannot feel any effort to make her happy anymore. When he reminds her she used to be happy just being together, she snaps that those feelings were only for the honeymoon phase. Karen flips the script and claims Yu is the one half-assing their relationship. She is acting like the victim of a low-effort boyfriend. The guilt trip continues as she brings up yesterday, claiming she felt used and discarded. Talk about a massive projection. Fists clenched under the table, Yu can barely stay silent while she lies through her teeth. He watches her eyes drift right back to the screen and finally sees the pattern. The signs were always there. All those excuses about being addicted to a mobile game are finally starting to fall apart. He knows exactly who she is really talking to. Time to play the part. Our boy forces a smile and makes up a lie about a friend in an accident to keep her from getting suspicious. He even offers to book a fancy restaurant for their next outing to keep the peace. The strategic retreat is in full effect. Karen brushes him off, claiming that asking for romance is exactly what kills the mood. Our boy can only offer a forced smile while she stays focused on her screen. Agreeing with her logic, he promises to plan something special on his own. She suddenly looks up from her phone to suggest hanging out next Thursday. A sharp silence follows the suggestion. Backtracking immediately, she claims she actually has work that night and tells him to pick another day. Meeting up later that night, the two allies exchange notes on a park bench. Yu reports the Thursday excuse while Tuko asks if her own boyfriend said the same. Confirmation comes quickly as Tuko reveals her man also claimed to be busy. Even with the facts lining up, she argues that a secret meeting is not confirmed just yet. Starting to snap, Yu begins to point out how obvious it is. A quick glance at her face is all it takes for him to cut his sentence short. Zoned out and clutching her drink, Tuko looks like she is about to break. Watching her from the side, Yu realizes she simply does not want to admit the truth. Our boy finally admits the spark is gone and Karen has lost all interest in him. Tuko senses the drama immediately and asks what exactly went down. Tuko doesn't hold back and asks if he even cares about her at all. She points out that Karen probably just hated their relationship being stuck in a boring rut. He lists the usual routine of coffee shops, arcades, and family restaurants. Karen apparently told him the whole thing felt too half-hearted for her. Looking away, Tuko whispers that any place is fun as long as you're with the person you love. That realization hits our boy right where it hurts. Flashback to the days when every moment together felt like finding a hidden treasure. But once the newness wears off, the special feelings start to fade right along with the routine. He argues that getting comfortable is just a natural part of dating for a long time. He adds that Karen started complaining about how other couples go on much fancier dates. With a cynical look, he asks the big question of who she thinks those other people really are. The truth behind the comparisons is starting to get very ugly. Tuko looks away in silence before admitting that telling him not to worry is useless. She senses that her boyfriend is hiding something beyond just the cheating. Tuko is ready to confirm her suspicions once and for all. Yu asks what she means by that. Standing by the park bench, he wonders what their actual plan of action is going to be. Tuko shifts the conversation and asks what he told Karen recently. He admits he wanted to confront her directly, but held back to avoid making her suspicious. Yu explains he is planning a nice birthday dinner for Karen. Tuko listens closely and asks for the specific date. The date is this Saturday, and the timing clearly strikes a chord. Seeing her freeze up, he asks what is wrong. She goes silent and falls into deep thought. Tuko drops a bombshell about being invited to stay the night. Our boy is absolutely floored by the sudden invitation. Yu points out that his senpai lives with his brother, but Tuko explains the brother is away on a rare work trip. She admits her boyfriend is being stubborn about her staying over and that she has not given an answer yet. Yu tries to interject as the situation gets even more complicated. Tuko drops a chilling logic bomb, pointing out that if she refuses her boyfriend's invite, he will just crawl back to Karen. The thought of their cheating partners spending the night together sends a shiver down Yu's spine. With the plan set for Saturday, Tuko tosses her empty can and calls it a night. She offers to walk him home, keeping that cool, composed energy even as they wrap up their secret meeting. She insists on taking a taxi instead, leaving Yu with strict orders to book a fancy lunch and leave his evening wide open. Our boy can barely stammer out a response as she disappears into the night with a confident smile. Watching her walk away, Yu realizes his partner in crime has already found her resolve. He pulls out his phone and hits confirm on an expensive restaurant reservation, bracing himself for the confrontation he knows is coming. Elsewhere, a teddy bear sits beside a fancy jewelry box. Karen's voice rings out as she thanks her senpai for the gift. She is all smiles and giggles on the phone, thanking her senpai for the brand new necklace. She is absolutely loving the attention and the good taste of the man she is seeing behind Yu's back. Laughing to herself, she can't help but compare the two men in her life. To her, the difference between her senpai and Yu is night and day. Tetsuya wraps up a late-night call in his bathrobe, promising to wear a gift the next time they meet. Tuko catches him in the act and asks who could possibly be calling him at this hour. Without even breaking a sweat, he hits her with the "just a friend" line. Elsewhere, Karen is still buzzing from their conversation and realizes she has a spare stand for her new jewelry. She carefully sets it out and admires her new prize, already archiving the moment in her memories. The night begins at Ristorante Adelina, a fancy spot that has Karen wondering how Yu could even afford to book a table. Yu explains that he wanted to splurge for her birthday, but her lukewarm reaction has him wondering if she is even into it. She quickly snaps out of her trance and drags him inside before things get awkward. Once they are seated, a waiter drops by to see what they want to drink. Yu plays it safe and orders 2 glasses of non-alcoholic Merlot, which earns him a sharp look from his girlfriend. Karen is internally fuming that they are only getting glasses of juice instead of real wine, calling the whole situation ridiculous. Even though she knows they are underage, she is clearly disappointed by his lack of style. She starts spiraling into a fantasy where her boyfriend is sophisticated enough to order a full bottle service with a formal presentation. Her expectations are through the roof as she dreams of a vintage surprise from her birth year, but Yu just hits her with a reality check about their age. Karen recognizes the brand and immediately goes quiet. Our boy is just confused, wondering why she suddenly shut down as the drinks are served. It is game over once Karen starts sulking. Yu is sweating bullets, noticing that she is being way more difficult than usual today. He tries to save the vibe with a quick apology. To really win her back, he mentions that he actually brought a gift, and her eyes immediately light up. The first course finally hits the table. It is a classic caprese salad with tomatoes and mozzarella that looks fire. One bite is all it takes to bring her back to life. She is already hyping up the next course, expecting big things from the pasta. Yu has zero clue what she is talking about. He is just staring blankly while she grills him about whether he even knows the structure of an Italian meal. Karen gives him a crash course in Italian dining etiquette. She explains the entire sequence from antipasto to the main dish, highlighting how the structure differs from Japanese meals. Karen talks his ear off about the intricacies of an Italian dinner, while Yu asks how she got so smart. She just brushes it off like it is common knowledge that everyone should know. The mood goes cold as Yu realizes her lecture sounds exactly like a second-hand opinion. He watches her carefully, knowing she is just repeating what her other guy told her. His mind wanders back to the secret messages from Daku asking if she is free. He can't get the idea of her cheating out of his head no matter how hard he tries. He breaks into a cold sweat thinking about what would have happened if he never found those texts. He would still be playing the part of the happy boyfriend while getting played. Karen starts trashing the main course, complaining that the pie is too hard to eat. She says they should have gone for French instead, and Yu realizes her bratty attitude isn't cute anymore. Our boy tries to mentally reset and just focus on the food in front of him. He tells himself to trust her just for tonight, since it is her birthday, even if everything feels like a lie. The waiter arrives to serve the dessert gelatos and break the awkward silence. Karen still looks completely annoyed, her pout making it clear she is not having a good time. Karen spots a cannolo on the menu and asks if they can add it to the order. It is a fried Sicilian sweet filled with ricotta cheese that looks incredible. Yu is surprised by how much she knows about Italian food. She explains that the place is famous for them, and it is a shame it is not in the course. He decides to treat her and calls the waiter over to order the extra sweet. Karen starts sweating and quickly claims she only knows about it from a magazine. While the kitchen preps the dessert, Yu pulls out her birthday present. She is hyped and asks if she can open it immediately. It is a brand new designer wallet with a signature logo on the front. She is genuinely touched that he remembered her mentioning it a while back. That radiant smile hits him hard. It is the same pure joy she showed back in the early days of their relationship. Our boy tries to tell himself that her bratty attitude is just a flip side of her love. He looks at her and starts to wonder if he just misunderstood those suspicious chat logs. Yu decides to test the waters by asking Karen what her plans are for the rest of the night. He waits for her answer with a tense grip on his bag. She immediately hits him with a total lie about friends from her hometown coming to visit. Yu is visibly shaken as the dark reality of her betrayal starts to set in. Karen says she has to go home immediately, acting like nothing is wrong. Our boy takes the hit, internally confirming that everything he suspected was true. Elsewhere, Tuko checks her messages and sees Yu is heading to their meetup spot. They trade updates on their cheating partners while Yu grabs a rental car for the mission. A dark car pulls up to the curb on a quiet street at night. Tuko knocks on the window and offers a quick apology for the wait before getting inside. The duo sets up their stakeout right in front of the apartment complex. Tuko settles into the seat and asks for a status report on the building they are watching. Yu notes that nobody has entered or left the place since he got there. Tuko mentions that Tetsuya is just out running a quick errand for a new microwave. Tuko figures they are taking their sweet time, since tomorrow is a day off. If they were meeting right away, they would be here by now. Realizing they are in for the long haul, Tuko hands over a sandwich. Our boy takes the snack and continues the wait. Yu munches on the food as the wait drags on. Tuko tells him to stay focused. She suggests moving to the back seat for a better vantage point. Yu follows her lead. The stakeout gear just got an upgrade with a professional camera. She casually mentions she borrowed it from a friend for the occasion. Yu thinks a phone is enough, but she wants high-definition proof. Tuko is not settling for a simple revenge. Yu asks about the plan for the evidence. Tuko is clearly playing for keeps. The street is silent until the targets finally roll into view. Tuko locks on immediately, whispering that they have arrived. Karen and Tetsuya are acting like the perfect couple after a fancy birthday dinner. She is loving every second of it, while our boy watches from the shadows. Tuko is on high alert, commanding Yu to get the video running. The camera catches every detail as the two cheaters lock lips on the stairs. The weight of the betrayal is setting in, but Tuko is not satisfied yet. One video is just the start of her cold-blooded plan. Yu thinks the evidence is undeniable, but Tuko shuts him down. She is not looking for a quick win. She wants total destruction. She points out how easily they could lie their way out of a single photo. To truly bury them, they need to prove these two spent hours alone together. Noticing how much this is weighing on Yu, Tuko offers him an exit. She is ready to handle the rest of the stakeout solo. Yu grips his phone tight as he finds his resolve. He tells Tuko he will stick by her side a bit longer, his eyes finally showing some real fire. Tuko remains cold as ice, reminding him that if they are going to do this, they have to be absolutely thorough. Under the dim moonlight, the deal is set in stone. Tuko simply tells him to do whatever he wants. She turns her gaze back to him, asking how his day with Karen went. Our boy confirms they were together as she watches his every move, looking for any signs of hesitation. He details the entire fake date, mentioning the high-end Italian dinner in Shibuya and the designer wallet gift. They even spent time hitting up the arcades and local shops to keep up appearances. Tuko recognizes the restaurant as a famous spot for cannoli. Yu shows her his phone to confirm the location, realizing she knows the place better than he does. Tuko looks at the screen with a heavy heart. Yu explains that he had no idea the place was special and only went there because Karen talked it up so much. Yu realizes the betrayal goes way back. Tetsuya did not just take Karen to that restaurant. He put on a whole wine show for her. The thought of them being cozy while he was clueless has him shaken to the core. The silence in the car is heavy. Tuko gazes out the window, realizing the two cheaters have probably been sneaking around for a while. Yu finally breaks the ice and asks the one thing on his mind. Why did she ever fall for a guy like that? A quick trip down memory lane shows Tetsuya in his prime. He was the local rock star, shredding on guitar and stealing everyone's hearts at the school festival. Yu remembers feeling like he could never measure up to a guy who had that much main character energy. Tuko admits it was not just about his status. He was persistent, and even though she shot him down at first, his approach eventually won her over. Behind the cool exterior, she claims he is just a deeply lonely soul. Even the most popular guys have their dark moments. She explains that while he looks like the life of the party, he has no one to lean on when things actually get tough. He plays the confident leader role to hide how isolated he really feels. She wanted to be the one person who stayed by his side during his lowest points. Yu can only look at her with pity as she lets out a soft, sad laugh. It is clear she really did love the guy she is now trying to destroy. The mood shifts as Tuko brings up how popular Karen is in their circle. Yu tries to pivot by reminding her that she is the undisputed campus queen. He is trying to figure out where she is going with this comparison. Tuko drops a random hypothetical about whether beauty or cuteness takes the crown. Our boy is completely lost, wondering where this is even coming from. She does not even wait for an answer, claiming that the cute girl usually wins every time. Tuko gets deep, explaining that being beautiful is just having a face without any flaws. To her, it is just subjective and kind of empty. Cuteness is a different beast that hits people right in the feels. It triggers that primal urge to protect someone, and that is a power she feels she lacks. She looks back at her school days, remembering how everyone always called her beautiful with a huge catch. That one little word but has haunted her entire life. The campus queen admits she has been losing to cute girls for years. While Yu tries to process that bombshell, she grips the seat as her composure starts to slip. The cold mask finally shatters as Tuko cries out that she just wants to be cute too. She feels trapped by her own personality, convinced she is stuck being the ice queen forever. The silence in the car is broken by the sound of the campus queen finally losing her cool. Our boy watches the mask fall away before reaching out to bridge the gap. A soft word is all it takes to make her look up. Forget a shoulder to cry on. He makes his move and pulls her into his space. The sudden contact catches her completely off guard. The stammering starts immediately as she tries to play it off as nothing special. Even with her voice shaking, she cannot hide how much the moment is hitting her. He admits he always looked up to her for being so reliable and strong. It is an honest confession that bridges the gap between them as he apologizes for staying quiet. He tells her it is okay to stop being the perfect leader and just lean on someone else. The message lands perfectly, and she finally lets the tension fade away. The night stays quiet as the car remains hidden in the shadows of the street. They stay out of sight, avoiding the glare of the lights from the nearby windows. Back in the car, our boy realizes that Tuko has been carrying way more pain than he ever imagined. He pulls her into a tight embrace, determined to support her through the betrayal. He whispers her name, finally letting the professional distance between them vanish. He gets fired up and tells her to just forget about that cheating senpai once and for all. Yu promises to be her shield, and Toko feels a massive weight lift off her shoulders. She looks at him with soft eyes, admitting that he is the only person she feels like she can actually trust. She begs him to stay by her side, and Yu feels like a total main character as he steals his resolve. He goes for the absolute kill shot and asks to spend the night together, but the vibe is immediately ruined by a loud voice. Back in reality, they are actually just hanging out at a restaurant, and Ishida is losing his mind because Yu is literally making up fake romantic dialogue for his own story. He tells our boy to stop being so dramatic and just stick to the facts. The actual night was way more low-key as they dig into some springy naan at an Indian spot. Ishida confirms that Yu just did the gentlemanly thing by watching over her until the last train and seeing her home safely. Yu takes a sip of water and insists he would never take advantage of a girl when she is that vulnerable. He says she is not some character in a dating sim, leaving Ishida to sigh at how much of a generic nice guy he is. Ishida goes full otaku mode, claiming that 2D girls are the only way to go since real women are just too much work. Yu can only offer a tired sigh while they dig into their naan, but the vibe shifts the second a familiar voice calls out to them. Speak of the devil, Nakazaki and Kamokura show up out of nowhere and ask to join them for lunch. Ishida immediately tenses up, recognizing the legendary campus senpai standing right in front of them. While Nakazaki makes small talk about the restaurant being a bit out of the way, Yu is absolutely locked in. He keeps his eyes glued on Kamakura, the guy who is currently ruining his life. Trying to keep things from getting weird, Ishida stammers out a polite welcome and lets the seniors take a seat at their table. Kamakura plays it cool, asking Nakazaki what he is ordering without even realizing the storm he is sitting across from. Nakazaki just shrugs it off, sticking to his usual meal. Nakazaki pivots the conversation, asking if Yu can step up and design the leaflets for the upcoming school festival. When Ishida asks why the regular guy isn't doing it, Nakazaki drops a bombshell. Suzuki-senpai is apparently too depressed to function after getting cheated on, leaving Yu in total disbelief at how pathetic the whole situation sounds. Yu tries to argue for basic ethics, but the senior is busy explaining the law of the jungle. He claims that chasing the best genes is just the natural order of things. Tetsuya dismisses morality as a total joke, calling it completely ambiguous. He pivots the conversation to game theory like he is some kind of mastermind. He breaks down the prisoner dilemma, explaining how isolated partners have to choose between loyalty and betrayal. The math shows that looking out for yourself is the only logical move. This dude actually tries to use criminal logic to justify cheating on your partner. He argues that being the one to betray first is just a strategic advantage. The vibe at the table gets heavy until Nakazaki finally tells his friend to shut up. He warns him that this edgy talk is exactly why people misunderstand him. Tetsuya just rolls his eyes, acting like he is a pioneer being judged by the masses. He genuinely believes his trash opinions make him a visionary. Yu is fuming as he realizes how bold this guy is about his own lack of shame. Seeing someone justify betrayal with logic is making his blood boil. Ishida is fully supporting the revenge plan, telling Yu he is looking forward to seeing how they get back at their partners. Yu is a bit surprised by how enthusiastic his friend is about the whole thing. While Tuko is ready to move once they have the proof, Ishida thinks the payback should be brutal. Yu admits they haven't talked about the details of the trap yet. Ishida has a wild idea and suggests that Yu should just steal Toko away right in front of the guy who betrayed her. He wants to see the look on Kamakura's face if he loses his queen to another man. The thought of actually pursuing Tuko has Yu completely flustered. Ishida just laughs it off, saying it would be a masterpiece to finally break that guy's composed facade. This dude keeps pushing the agenda, claiming that a new love is the best way to move on from a bad one. Yu looks completely drained by the chaos and tries to shut the conversation down. Later that night, the weight of the situation starts to feel very real. Yu checks his messages with Karen, noting how she is already being vague about their plans for next weekend. Yu lies in bed, realizing that Karen is using the same old excuses. He watches her lie about a trip with a hometown friend, his expression turning cold as he sees right through her act. Yu lies in bed staring at his phone while the lies from his girlfriend keep piling up. He realizes she is recycling the same hometown friend excuse she used on her birthday, and honestly, he is just fed up. The chat shows Karen dodging a specific date for her trip, but she is already planning for the next long weekend. She sends a cute cat sticker to end the talk, and Yu cannot believe how fast she is trying to pivot the conversation. Our boy decides to hop on a call with Tuko to see if her side of the story matches up. He asks her about the trip, and the realization starts to hit that their partners are definitely planning something together. Tuko confirms that Tetsuya also mentioned a vague trip with an old club buddy while looking at a framed photo of them together. It is becoming clear that while Karen is being specific, Tetsuya is keeping his excuses as blurry as possible. Tuko notes that Karen seems way more invested in making this trip happen than Tetsuya does. Yu agrees, realizing his girlfriend might be the one driving this entire affair forward. Tuko finally flips the photo of her boyfriend face down on the desk, signaling the end of her loyalty. She makes it clear she has zero intention of staying with a cheater, and asks Yu if he is ready to start the revenge. The plan is set for Christmas Eve, and Yu is left stunned by the 2-month timeline. He looks at the October calendar while Tuko asks him exactly how he plans to execute his part of the trap. Tuko is playing the long game by making her target completely dependent before she strikes. This hug is just the first step in her cold-blooded plan for revenge. On campus, the hype for the annual circle party is already hitting the roof. Everyone is talking about how they book out an entire restaurant for the night. Yu listens as Tuko explains she is going to wait until the betrayal hurts the most. It is all going down on Christmas Eve. The plan is to expose the cheating in front of everyone and end the relationship with maximum impact. No more hiding in the shadows. Tuko knows these two live for social approval. Dragging their names through the mud in public is the ultimate humiliation. The call cuts and Yu sits alone on his bed for a moment. He clutches his phone with a determined look and prepares for war. Back at school, Yu hands over festival drafts to Nagasaki while his inner monologue turns pitch black. He is going to make them wish they never crossed him. Nagasaki checks if the freshman is hyped for his first school festival. Our boy sticks to the script and says he is looking forward to it. The room goes quiet as Kamokura waltzes in through the door. A casual greeting from the senpai is all it takes to ruin the good mood. Lunch plans are on the table after a class gets cancelled, but the conversation takes a sharp turn. Yu stops the senior in his tracks by bringing up an interesting talk they had a while back. Game theory enters the chat as Yu breaks down the logic of the prisoner's dilemma. It is a direct warning about the price of betrayal, though Kamokura simply brushes it off before walking away. Both men part ways while holding on to their own twisted definitions of righteousness. Lunch at the cafeteria starts off with a heavy dose of awkward. Karen plays the part of the perfect girlfriend by asking about a trip that is actually a secret affair. Tetsuya plays it cool while Toko watches from the sidelines. Tetsuya notices the shift in the room and turns his attention to Toko. He points out that she is making a very unusual face. He starts testing the waters and asks if she is actually jealous of his club trip. He even offers to cancel just to sound like a good guy. Tuko just takes a sip of her drink and shuts down that idea immediately. He flashes a charming smile and calls her sweet for being so understanding. He has no idea that she is already planning his downfall. Elsewhere, the scene shifts to a quiet park where Yu and Toko meet up for coffee. Yu refuses to let her pay for the drinks and says the peaceful spot is enough of a reward. Our boy is impressed by how careful Toko is being to avoid any university rumors. As they sit together, Yu admits that he has some doubts about the big reveal they have planned for Christmas Eve. He is worried that exposing the cheaters in front of everyone will just ruin the holiday for the whole group. Tuko looks him in the eye and admits she was thinking the exact same thing. Tuko drops a new plan called Secrets Reveal. Yu is a bit thrown by the name, but she explains it is a common event tradition for anything from love confessions to public breakups. They decide to treat the exposure as a surprise part of the festival event. Tuko knows they need to be careful with the setup, starting to brainstorm the perfect way to trap their cheating partners. Tuko brings up Yu's best friend Ishida. Since they have been tight since middle school, his position in the same social circle makes him the perfect addition to their growing team. She wants Yu to bring Ishida into the fold for their next meeting. It is not just him though, as Tuko plans on recruiting another trusted friend of her own. Tuko introduces her secret weapon, a girl named Kanu from the economics department. By placing their own people in the circle, they can secure total control over the narrative during the big reveal. The goal is to make sure nothing stops them from taking down Tetsuya and Karen on Christmas Eve. Yu is still feeling a bit skeptical, pointing out that both their partners are way too popular for this to be easy. Tuko insists that their partners being popular is exactly why they need to prepare every single detail. Yu agrees to reach out to Ishida, but she can tell he is still holding back another major concern. Yu starts to doubt himself, worried that he cannot make Karen dependent enough to pull off the plan. He thinks his lack of charm is a personal problem that will not even affect Tuko, but he is clearly overthinking it. Tuko looks him dead in the eye and asks if his lack of confidence comes from being cheated on. Our boy gets completely rattled by her bluntness, jumping in his seat as he tries to find an excuse. He sets his coffee down and pulls out his phone to show her the evidence. Looking back at his recent texts, it is obvious the feelings in their relationship are already starting to fade away. As they scroll through the messages, Tuko points out that they have reached the 3-month mark where things usually start to cool off. She wants to know exactly how he felt about Karen before the betrayal ruined everything. Thinking back to when they first started dating, Yu admits that he was willing to tolerate her selfish behavior because she was his first girlfriend. He just wanted to be a good partner, even when things got difficult. He confesses that he was genuinely crazy about her, which is why the pain of her betrayal is sticking around. That kind of deep affection does not just disappear overnight, no matter how much he hates the situation. Tuko stays quiet for a moment while she processes everything he just said. She gives a simple acknowledgement, her eyes reflecting a mix of understanding and calculation. Tuko pauses to think, stressing that she doesn't approve of the cheating at all. She's strictly focused on the psychological side of why their partners are acting this way. Yu looks down as she drops a heavy question. If he was putting up with things he hated just to stay together, maybe Karen felt that exact same pressure. All those tiny problems probably just kept piling up until the whole foundation cracked. It is a hard truth that applies to both of their failing relationships. The phone sits there as a reminder of the distance growing by the second. If they don't intervene now, the relationship will just wither away naturally. Tuko wonders why Karen is even maintaining the lie instead of just leaving. She knows Karen is playing a high-stakes game by keeping Yu as a safety net while she chases Tetsuya. Our boy is left with a massive question mark when she mentions reversing the situation. He has no clue what she has planned for their next move. Tuko realizes that Tetsuya's loyalty is paper-thin compared to Karen's dedication. One word from her would have been enough to make him bail on the entire secret trip. Tuko lays out a hypothetical trap where she demands Tetsuya visit her right before his secret trip. It is a calculated move to force him into a difficult choice. She explains that once Karen is crushed by the sudden cancellation, Yu swooping in to be kind will trigger a change of heart. Yu can barely process the psychological warfare until she calls his name to snap him out of it. Tuko offers a reassuring smile and reminds him that he is not fighting this battle alone. She calls them comrades in arms, catching him completely off guard with the dramatic title. Our boy lets out a genuine laugh at her theatrical choice of words. The tension finally breaks as he finds the whole situation more than a little ridiculous. A blushing Tuko tells him to quit laughing because he is making it incredibly embarrassing for her. Yu tries to apologize through his giggles, admitting he is just happy to have her in his corner. Sitting together on a park bench, Yu resolves to do his best to pull this off. Tuko gives a small laugh and tells him that is the exact spirit they need to succeed. The groundwork for messing with Karen's head is officially set. Tuko explains that the rest of the plan is all about Yu fine-tuning his own behavior. Tuko warns that standard kindness won't work on someone like Karen who constantly craves attention. She jokes that managing girls is basically a massive headache. Yu quickly clarifies that he thinks human relationships are just tough for everyone, regardless of gender. Tuko just gives him a warm smile and suggests they continue their walk. They stroll together under the bright sky while Tuko admires the fresh air. Yu follows along as she mentions how much she loves the perfect weather. Yu asks for specific advice on how to fine-tuning his behavior for the plan. He reminds her that Karen is extremely sensitive to the opinions of her social circle. Tuko suggests a plan where other girls act jealous of their relationship to make Karen value him more. Yu is still trying to grasp the strategy as she breaks down the logic. The strategy is simple and direct. He needs to become much more popular within their circle by winning over the other girls. Our boy immediately loses it because he thinks he has to make every girl fall in love with him. Tuko has to snap him back to reality by clarifying that isn't what she meant at all. Tuko starts laying down the law, telling him his new goal is to become the kind of guy everyone admires. The more he leans into this, the easier the whole plan gets. She asks him what makes a guy popular, and his mind immediately goes to the standard checklist of being tall, athletic, and charming. It hits him that he is basically describing Tetsuya, which Tuko quickly shuts down. Tuko points out that popularity is different for everyone, effectively dismantling his basic checklist. She suggests that being a good talker is a much better goal for him to aim for, while Yu feels absolutely roasted by her logic. Our boy admits he is definitely not the type to be the center of attention, but she laughs it off. She clarifies that she isn't asking him to become some kind of superstar. The secret sauce is just listening to people and actually understanding what they want. Tuko looks him in the eyes and tells him she knows he can pull it off. She gives him his marching orders to start paying attention to others and anticipating their needs. Before he can even react, she starts walking away and brushes off any further questions. Tuko adds one last cryptic tip about catching people's attention as she leaves. Our boy's left standing there wondering how he is supposed to actually make that happen. Tuko ends the free advice session and walks off, leaving our boy standing there confused. She points out their partners and calls him out for not contributing any plans. Yu starts stressing over how he can actually step up. She mumbles something under her breath that he can't hear. Tuko keeps whispering while she hides her face. Yu gets annoyed because she's being way too quiet. Losing her cool, she snaps and tells him to listen better the first time. With her face red, she finally shouts her request. She wants him to teach her how to be a cute girl. Silence falls between them as the words sink in. Yu is stunned while she waits for his reaction. Tuko finally drops the bomb and asks Yu to teach her how to be a cute girl. Our boy is completely short-circuited by the request and can barely form a sentence. He stammers through a confused rejection while she stands there waiting with her hands clasped. The Ice Queen starts melting right in front of him as her face turns a deep shade of red. Watching her get all flustered makes Yu realize that she is already incredibly cute. He is so distracted by her reaction that he almost misses her shouting at him for staring. Tuko pouts and demands to know what is so funny when she is being dead serious. Yu tries to laugh it off and apologize, but she keeps grumbling about how much of a pain he is being. They go back and forth while the awkward tension from before finally starts to break. Yu pulls himself together, but he still looks pretty unsure about the whole situation. He asks if she is really sure about this, since he is probably the last person who should be giving dating advice. He admits that his opinion might not be that helpful, but Tuko shuts him down immediately. She looks him in the eye and tells him that she is specifically asking because it is him. She quickly clears her throat to hide her embarrassment and tries to change the subject. The training arc officially begins with a list of strict requirements. She points a finger and warns him that he has to write a 5 to 10-page essay, or he will have to resubmit it. Yu is absolutely floored that he is getting homework for this. He keeps the thought to himself that her current pouting is already peak cuteness. After seeing her face light up with genuine excitement, he finally gives in and agrees to collect his thoughts. Tuko heads off while leaving our boy in a total daze. He is already second-guessing the massive promise he just made to the school queen. Later that night, the nightly routine turns into a ghosting session. His calls go straight to voicemail while the hours tick by. He realizes she is already breaking her own rule about nightly calls. It is not even 9 yet, and he is already getting the cold shoulder. Staring at the digital clock becomes the main event as he waits for a better time. He decides to give her a bit more space before trying again. The connection finally goes through after 10, but Karen is in a savage mood. She shuts him down immediately with a voice dripping in attitude. He tries to explain his concern, but she treats him like a total nuisance. She claims she was just sleeping, despite her eyes telling a different story. Our boy plays it cool and repeats the excuse back to her. He ends the call with a simple gotcha while processing the obvious lie. Karen is chilling in bed with her side piece while brushing Yu off over the phone. She hits him with the classic line that he doesn't need to call her every night anymore. While her secret guy gets comfortable, Karen gaslights our boy into thinking his calls are a chore. She even questions why they still talk so much after 3 months together. She doubles down by comparing basic check-ins to surveillance and claims she feels trapped. She even has the nerve to suggest she might stop liking him if he keeps penning her in. She cuts him off mid-sentence and hangs up without a second thought. Flash forward to the restaurant, where the squad is already starting to react to the mess. Yu sits there replaying her pathetic headache excuse in his head. The realization of how badly he is being played is finally starting to sink in. Tuko's best friend Kazumi joins the chat and immediately drops a truth bomb. She is convinced that Karen was definitely busy with Kamadouche while Yu was on the line. Kazumi laughs it off and tells Yu he is way too vulnerable for his own good. Tuko tries to defend him, but even she can't deny that the vibe at the table is getting awkward. Kazumi keeps it real by telling you there is no point in crying over spilled milk, while the rest of the table just wants to order some food. Tuko has to step in and apologize for her friend having absolutely zero chill. Tuko breaks down the red flag playbook and warns you to stop falling for those classic headache excuses. She makes it clear that prying while the cheaters are together is a losing game. Kazumi reminds him of the mission and warns that losing focus on the endgame would be a mistake. The goal is to wait until she is head over heels before pulling the rug out from under her. While Ishida stays busy with his ramen, Kazumi tells him to keep a closer eye on his boy since this plan is getting dangerous. She makes sure he knows this is not a game and every single move counts. The plan for the Christmas party exposure needs the right audience reaction to really land. Tuko puts the vibe check in their hands and asks for their help in setting the stage. Tuko wants the word spread through the entire circle, but Kazumi is not exactly feeling the idea of a full-scale smear campaign. Yu just stands there trying to process the level of petty they are about to reach. Ishida finally puts down the chopsticks to explain that they need to find real allies who hate cheating as much as they do. He realizes they need to gather people who will back them up when the truth finally comes out. Tuko knows that making the move themselves would look too suspicious, so she decides to entrust the heavy lifting to the boys. She wants to recruit allies who naturally hate cheating to ensure the crowd is on their side when the truth comes out. Ishida is fully on board, slurping his ramen while promising to give the plan his total cooperation. Tuko is relieved to see he is ready to lock in for the mission. He makes it clear that he won't stand by while his best friend is made a fool of. The girls are officially impressed by his loyalty and genuine determination. The first strategy meeting wraps up without a hitch under the girls' leadership. Yu is still trying to process just how blunt Kazumi can be when she is focused on a goal. Later on the train, Ishida admits he is actually in high spirits after joining such a serious conversation. He is officially a fan of how amazing Tuko-senpai turned out to be. He can't wrap his head around why Kamakura would ever risk a relationship with a girl that incredible. If he were in that position, he would be counting his blessings every single day. Ishida admits that he will never understand the moral compass of a guy who values betrayal. Yu stays quiet, letting the weight of the situation settle as they head home. Ishida breaks the silence on the train with a heavy confession. He admits that hearing about Karen's cheating actually terrified him. Yu can only respond with a stunned sound. He knew that when our boy gets mad, he stops thinking, and Ishida was genuinely scared things would get violent. He didn't want to see his best friend suffer like that. Yu can only look away in shame, muttering a quick apology for making him worry. Seeing Yu stay rational was a huge weight off his shoulders, and he is just glad they have Tuko in their corner. But then, he drops a bombshell. He thinks they should just call it quits and stop right here. Ishida breaks down the cold truth that cheating is not like a legal battle where a verdict fixes everything. Whether you choose to resent them or try to forget, that kind of wound never truly heals. He stares ahead with a chilling intensity. For him, revenge means being forced to keep your eyes locked on that betrayal until the goal is finally reached. As a real friend, Ishida tells Yu that he should probably just walk away and forget everything. He warns that even with a successful plan, the inevitable resentment means there is no happy ending waiting for them. Switching gears, Ishida admits that getting closer to Tuko-senpai has not been so bad. He was only half joking before, but he really does want things to go well for them. Still, he knows that just moving on would not be enough to settle the score. Ishida flashes a wink and officially joins the squad as an accomplice. Yu is already planning how to land a solid hit on both their faces. The emotional weight finally hits. He struggles to stay composed while begging himself not to cry right there on the train. Back in the lecture hall, the target cover stories are lining up exactly as expected. The plan is officially in motion for tonight. Tuko kicks off the training arc by explaining that presentation is everything. While the MC assumes he needs a top model face, she clarifies it is really just about basic hygiene. She points out that most guys in their department look straight up shabby in their worn-out gear. The goal is not expensive luxury brands, just some decent casual picks from a normal store. Since he is a newbie to fashion, Tuko decides they need to hit the mall together. A new look is mandatory if they want to make Karen jealous. The day of the shopping trip arrives, and Tuko shows up looking like a superstar. Our guy is left speechless by the sudden glow-up. Our boy is already hitting his limit, looking completely lost in the sea of hangers. Tuko just tells him to stop overthinking and let her cook. He is worried about looking like a store mannequin, but she shuts that down immediately. These outfits were designed for normal people to look decent. She steps in close to measure a sweater against him, noting that his slim build makes him a perfect canvas. It is hard to focus on the fashion when she is standing that close. The sudden proximity has him short-circuiting. She just flashes a confident smile, knowing exactly how much she is flustering him. Holding up her top pick, she gives him the final verdict. It is official. This look is the one. Before he can even process the first choice, she starts unloading a whole stream of coordinates on him. He gets shoved toward the dressing rooms with a mountain of fabric. It is time for the fashion show. He cycles through a stone gray jacket and a moss green hoodie, looking like a whole new person. Tuco gives a wink of approval, confirming the outfit is a perfect fit. Our MC lets out a breath of relief as they finally wrap things up at the store. Done with the shopping spree, they head out with 3 full outfits in hand. Tuco gives him some final tips on how to coordinate his new gear without making it look weird. Under the city lights, she keeps the advice coming, telling him to stick to plain patterns and avoid thrift stores for now. She even offers to be his fashion emergency contact if he gets stuck. Bro notices she knows way too much about the game to just be an amateur. The sudden compliment has her short-circuiting. She tries to play it off as standard girl knowledge, but he is not buying it. He points out how professional her choices felt, which just makes her snap at him to stop overthinking it. Her tone shifts as she looks away with a heavy blush. She asks him to keep a certain secret between just the two of them. Passing by a storefront, she finally drops the truth about her past as a magazine model. It all clicks for the MC, who realizes her expertise was on a whole different level. Tuco admits she quit modeling because the fame started affecting her daily life. She makes him promise to keep it a secret from everyone, even her best friend. Yu thinks a former model would already have all the answers. She shuts him down immediately, saying that is not how it works. Her focus is strictly on the male perspective of cuteness. Our boy is just lost because he does not see the difference. The mood shifts as she suddenly brings up his schoolwork. She uses a looming essay deadline as a shield to end the conversation. Yu suggests gathering data from his friends to help her out. The thought of her secret leaking sends the campus queen into a tailspin. Meltdown mode is fully engaged. She makes it clear that this conversation stays between them or else. Our MC calls a truce to avoid making things worse. He promises to keep her secret safe after seeing her reaction. Yu finally snaps and tells her she is already cute, which is basically a self-destruct button for his cool factor. He starts spiraling about gathering data from the internet or other schools. But Tuco is not having any of it. Tuco shuts down the research project immediately. She looks away with a massive blush, insisting that his personal taste is the only thing that actually matters here. The mood takes a dark turn as she leans in with a deadpan stare. She makes him promise not to go digging through the internet for answers, basically locking him into a corner. They stand under the stars in a heavy silence before Yu finally loses it. His panicked shouts echo through the city streets as he realizes he might have just signed his own death warrant. Yu is back at his apartment and actually takes his training home with him. He pulls up Google for a quick research session on what makes a girl cute, because his own brain is drawing a blank. The search results are basically just generic Hallmark advice about being upbeat and honest. It is definitely not the specialized intel he needs to fulfill Tuco's request. He slams the laptop shut before he wastes any more time on the internet. He knows his partner is looking for his personal taste, not a Wikipedia definition. Now it is time for some actual introspection. He starts digging through his own memories to figure out what his type actually looks like. His mind immediately drifts to Tuco and all her little habits. He realizes that her gap mo when she panics is easily her most adorable trait. Total system crash. He realizes he is just describing Tuco and starts spiraling as the implications of his own taste hit him hard. He quickly shoots down the idea of just telling her she is the definition of cute. That would be a way too bold for a simple training session. Our boy starts hallucinating a version of Karen, who is a top-tier housewife making pancakes. She keeps leaning in closer with a blush that could melt a glacier. He slams his head onto the desk and starts apologizing to the empty room for his own stray thoughts. His mom checks in through the door to say she is leaving for work. The sudden knock makes him jump out of his skin before he manages to play it cool. A notification from Ishida pops up on his screen at 10 in the morning. He is inviting our MC to check out some second-hand clothes in Shibuya. This seems like the perfect way to reset his brain and get some actual research done. He hits him back with a quick confirmation and gets a cute sticker in return. Cut to the shop where Ishida is already hunting for specific items like a pro. Our boy watches from the side as his friend geeks out over a fresh find. Ishida immediately picks up on the weird vibe and asks what is really going on. He knows that distant look means something is definitely up. Yu catches his friend off guard by asking what actually makes a girl cute. Ishida looks baffled by the sudden topic change. Ishida keeps browsing the racks while asking where this is coming from. Our boy just brushes it off, claiming he was simply curious. They start narrowing down the details while Ishida tries to process the question. His brain is clearly loading as he thinks about a real answer. Beauty is the first requirement on the list. Yu realizes that Tuco easily checks off every single box his friend is describing. Ishida gets a bit more honest about his specific physical preferences. Our MC keeps his cool even though he knows his partner fits the bill there too. Next up is the personality vibe, where a kudere is suggested as a major plus. Our boy can't help but smirk, knowing his partner is the definition of a kudere. The list ends with blonde hair and twin tails being declared as peak justice. Yu is already picturing the look on Tuko and decides he definitely likes the idea. Ishida dives deep into his specific tastes, suggesting a girl in a band or a violinist would be peak. He is clearly a man of culture. Yu watches as his friend moves on to the childhood friend and stepsister tropes. This research is getting a little too specific for him. The list keeps growing as cat ears and bunny girls enter the chat. Apparently, animal ears are a major bonus in his book. Yu gives him a long, judgmental stare. The silence speaks volumes as he processes the information. Ishida is fully immersed in his magical girl fantasy now. He rants about morning anime being superior while Yu wonders what planet he is even on. Our boy hits his limit and facepalms at the sheer absurdity. He admits it is his own fault for asking about his friend's definition of cuteness. The conversation shifts back to reality as Ishida mentions a girl named Meika has been worried. He jokes about preferring older sisters while Yu tries to steer him away from the weird archetypes. Ishida mentions a girl he has not seen in a while and casually invites Yu over after the big Christmas party. He is confident she would love the visit as they wrap up their shopping spree. Introducing Meika, the high school sister who clearly has a crush on our MC. Knowing she has been watching him makes things feel a bit awkward, while her brother just enjoys the teasing. Halloween is wrapping up, which means the countdown to the Christmas Eve party is officially on. The boys head out with their new gear as the deadline for the revenge plan draws closer. Coasting through the current plan is not cutting it for you anymore. With October gone, the lack of real progress starts to feel like a problem. Relying on Tuko for everything is not going to work long term. A shift in mindset is needed to truly take control of the situation. While passing by the cinema, Ishida catches a glimpse of someone familiar in the crowd. A couple is walking ahead, and the tension spikes the moment they are spotted. Tetsuya is out on the town, but his partner is not anyone they expected. He seems perfectly at ease with a girl who is clearly enjoying every second of their time together. Ishida confirms that girl is a senior who rarely hangs out with the circle. Yu can only nod, his brain currently buffering from the chaos of the situation. Ishida isn't just watching, he pulls out his phone to lock in some photo evidence. He knows the distance makes it tricky, but proof is proof. The realization hits hard when they see the alley lead straight to the hotel district. Yu starts to spiral, wondering if this guy is actually three-timing everyone. Staring down that street feels like looking into the abyss. They both know the rabbit hole goes much deeper than they thought. Back on campus, determination sets in. Yu clenches his fist, mentally swearing to expose the truth no matter what. Another day, another text from Karen with a fresh batch of lies. She claims to be at the movies with a friend, but Yu knows exactly who she is really meeting. Seeing them together hits different now that the masks are off. Yu wonders if Karen is even aware that she is just one of many girls on this dude's roster. Tuko is all business as she reveals she knows the exact date of the secret trip. It is set for the first weekend of next month, which just so happens to be the same time as the school festival. The timing is perfect since the circle will be busy running a booth, making it the ideal cover for them to slip away. Tuko is betting that they will just claim Karen is feeling under the weather to explain her absence. Tuko warns him that the first move is coming soon, and he should expect a call from Karen any second. She turns back to him with a serious look, telling him that this is where it all officially begins. The plan is simple. Yu needs to act like the perfect supportive boyfriend and cheerfully encourage her to go without asking a single question. He locks in with a serious stare, promising he has it under control. Tuko plans to pull the rug out from under Tetsuya at the very last second, which she predicts will send Karen spiraling. Our boy watches the ice in his drink as he asks why she is so sure Karen will come running to him. It is all about ego, and Tuko knows Karen will not be able to handle being ignored. She will be desperate to vent her anger at someone, and since she cannot tell her friends about her secret affair, she will have only one option. Yu realizes the logic is sound. He is the only safe person she can turn to without exposing her own lies. He gives a thoughtful nod, finally seeing how all the pieces of the trap are starting to click into place. Suspicion hangs heavy as Yu watches the couple walk away while Tuko gives him his orders. He needs to be the ultimate shoulder to cry on the second Karen reaches out to him, even if it is just a simple text. Tuko spells out the cold reality of their strategy. Our boy realizes how convenient the setup is and agrees to keep playing the role of the perfect boyfriend. The plan is to create a total sense of security. He has to be the safety net that Karen can always fall back on if her secret affair starts to fall apart. Yu wonders if he is really just an insurance policy in this game. Tuko does not sugarcoat the truth, leaving him to process the weight of his new role. She tries to make it sound a bit more noble by calling him a lifeline or the last bastion. It is a nice way to phrase the fact that they are effectively trapping her. Desperation is the key to making a lifeline feel essential. Yu agrees to make Karen rely on him so much that the thought of him disappearing becomes her biggest fear. The alliance is officially locked in. They are ready to kick off the first move and ensure their revenge plot goes exactly as planned. Tuco locks in and declares it is finally his turn to step up. Our boy is completely blindsided, left with 0 words and a face full of confusion. She demands to see the essay immediately, leaving no room for excuses. The pressure mounts as he scrambles to find an answer, finally realizing that the stakes of this conversation just skyrocketed. A vision of the ultimate dream girl serving a warm meal flashes through his mind. Reality hits like a truck, making it clear that his personal fantasies are way too embarrassing to ever admit out loud. Tuco is staring him down with 0 expression, and Yu finally realizes she wasn't joking about that whole cuteness essay. He stares back in pure panic, completely lost for words. Tuco explains that her senpai is the first thing that comes to mind whenever she thinks about the topic. Our boy is having a mental breakdown, knowing that calling his rival cute would be a total disaster. He tries to play it smart by focusing on inner beauty so he doesn't come off as shallow. Tuco listens quietly as he lists off traits like kindness, confidence, and even a bit of that classic tsundere charm. He keeps going with the graceful and family-oriented angle, but he's secretly running on fumes. The silence is getting way too intense for our boy. He realizes he has to say something, so he blurts out that not cheating is a pretty solid start. Under the pressure, he loses his cool and goes full shallow mode. He stammers out that beautiful girls with big assets are usually the popular ones. He keeps digging the hole deeper by rambling about how twin tails leave a strong impression. Tuco stands up with a cold thank you and prepares to bounce. Our MC is currently having a total internal meltdown. Tuco looks him dead in the eyes with pure disappointment. So that is what you think a cute girl is? She asks before grabbing her things. He jumps up and begs for a redo before she can make it to the door. I told you generally. But I want to give you my real thoughts, he shouts. Please give me one more chance. Tuco stops in her tracks but does not turn around. She tells him not to go out of his way, since she does not even have a clear answer herself. He refuses to back down and promises to think it through properly this time. Tuco glances back at him before finally giving in with a soft all right. Tuco admits she was a bit much today. She asks him to share his real thoughts next time instead of just panicking. Our boy is back in high spirits and practically shouting his agreement. They stop by a register to settle the bill before a text from Karen drops like a bomb. It is the official date for her secret trip. He stares at the message from his cheating girlfriend, confirming the timing is exactly what he suspected. Time to play the part. He starts typing a response. Karen suggests he should also go out since the school break is so long. He stares at the screen trying to figure out her angle. Is she actually encouraging him, or just checking if the coast is clear? He realizes she is just fishing for his schedule to make sure they do not cross paths. He plays it cool, telling her he is just going to hang around the school festival. She seems relieved, and even tells him to have fun. 1 week flashes by, and the school festival is finally around the corner. While walking through the neighborhood, Ishida checks in for an update on Karen's trip. Everything is still proceeding according to plan. Yu explains that he followed Tuco's instructions to the letter. He gave Karen total freedom and didn't ask a single suspicious question. Even the souvenir excuse worked perfectly to keep her guard down. Ishida is pretty confident he played his part perfectly, but Yu notes that the cheaters are actually meeting more often now, which was not exactly the plan. Yu looks down at his screen as another notification pops up. Tuco sends a message confirming she stopped Tetsuya and warns Yu that Karen will be calling soon. Walking down the street, Ishida is impressed by her moves and wonders how she pulled it off. Yu is stunned by how easily Tuco is pulling the strings. He imagines her holding Tetsuya on a literal leash as she manipulates the whole situation. Karen is already calling before Yu can even process the message. He answers the phone and is immediately hit by a wall of noise as she screams for him to listen. She starts her rant with a heavy, frustrated tone. Karen is having a meltdown over the trip being cancelled. She complains about the timing and how awful the whole situation is. Our boy Yu is really out here Oscar fishing, pulling a gentle voice out of nowhere that has Ishida straight up confused. He keeps it cool on the phone, playing the supportive role perfectly, while his friend wonders where that smooth talking guy came from. Karen is losing it on the other end, her voice booming through the phone so loud that everyone nearby can hear the meltdown. It is a full-scale tantrum, and the boys are just walking along while the chaos unfolds in real time. The irony is top tier. Karen is actually crying to her boyfriend about her side piece being a flake. Ishida can only stare in disbelief as she vents about her cheating partner's lack of sincerity. Yu tells her not to cry, maintaining his role as the perfect fallback. On the other side, Karen is a total mess, wiping away tears and falling for the act hook, line, and sinker. He delivers the next line with the most monotone energy possible, offering to comfort her if she was nearby. He is internally second-guessing himself, wondering if that dry delivery was actually enough to sell the lie. Ishida is not buying the performance for a second. Noting that Yu's face tells a completely different story. Yu is just stunned that she is turning back to him this easily after getting shut down by the other guy. To his absolute surprise, she calls him kind and thanks him for the support. He is left staring at the phone, shocked that such a low-effort attempt at being nice actually worked on her. Ishida is genuinely shocked at how easily Karen is falling for such a basic performance. He realizes Tuko read the room perfectly, and her ability to manipulate people like this is actually a little scary. Karen is completely hooked and starts begging to see him over the phone. Yu plays his part perfectly, and she is so overwhelmed with emotion that she can barely form a sentence. The irony hits a new peak when she tells him how happy she is to have him as a boyfriend. Yu just stays silent on the other end, letting her believe the lie while the trap continues to close. Seeing a shift in her tone, Yu decides to lean in and apply some pressure. He casually brings up the hotel cancellation fees just to see how she reacts to the financial sting of her ruined weekend. She sounds flustered while confirming the money situation is fine. Yu keeps the concerned boyfriend mask on, though he is secretly wondering if his rival was just planning a cheap hotel hookup. Karen actually thanks him for being the only one who cares about her, which is just straight up delusional. Even the guys are stunned that things are going this smoothly without any resistance. Our boy is starting to realize he might have played his cards too well. It feels like she is at the point where she will love him no matter what kind of nonsense he says. Karen is checking the schedule and asking if they can meet up tomorrow. Yu is already sweating the response. He hits her with the classic excuse about having plans with his best friend. Promises to make it up to her later are just a distraction while he dodges a bullet. The call ends and Yu drops the act immediately. He admits to a confused Ishida it was all a lie because his poker face is trash in person. Tuko rings him up next with some strictly business energy. The plan requires him to meet with Karen to consolidate her feelings, even if he hates the idea. He clenches his fist but ultimately gives in. Meanwhile, Tuko is moving like a grandmaster, claiming that dealing with her own boyfriend was actually light work. She casually dropped the bombshell on Tetsuya that she is joining him on his secret trip. Our boy is just watching her play 4D chess at this point. His jaw drops as she explains how she pulled it off with just one move. She confirms she has a very effective card to play, leaving him speechless. Tuko shuts down the trip plans before they even start. She makes it clear that there is no way she is showing up tomorrow. No more games. She lets him know that being with a man who is two-timing her is absolutely off the table. Back at the apartment, Yu realizes he has to move fast to keep the momentum going. He follows the plan to lock down Karen before any other move can be made. Karen is buzzing when he tells her he cleared his schedule just for her. He plays the devoted boyfriend perfectly, claiming she is his absolute priority. The pressure is rising as he officially invites her to the festival. He is doing his best to keep his cool and keep the act together. Success is served. She is completely hooked on the attention and can't stop thanking her lucky stars for such a devoted boyfriend. The mood shifts as he looks at her. Seeing her act like the girl he once loved makes the weight of his revenge start to sink in. Our boy plays the devoted boyfriend while Karen clings to his arm like glue. He realizes this sudden affection is just a way for her to get back at her secret lover for picking Tuko. Once the dust settles, he knows they will be right back to their cheating ways. Looking at the calendar, the deadline is set. Christmas is just over a month away. It is time to turn up the heat and lock in the final phase of the plan. He checks out a beauty app on his phone, plotting his next move to give her that final push. He admits he used to love her, but that part of his heart is officially dead. Back at the university, Tetsuya is looking for a way to kill time. He asks Nakazaki to play some mahjong, but his friend is clearly in the middle of working. The campus is buzzing with energy because today is the start of the school festival. Tents are everywhere as the students handle all the final preparations. Nakazaki is confused to see him here since he was supposed to be away on a trip. Tetsuya just brushes it off, admitting that his weekend plans fell through at the last minute. Since he is officially at loose ends, Nakazaki decided to put him to work. He hands over a stack of boxes and tells him to start helping the other students out. On another part of the campus, Ishida is doing some heavy lifting while keeping tabs on the target. He pulls out his phone to report that the cheater is currently stuck doing manual labor. Kazumi shows up right on time to get the latest update on the situation. She is eager to hear exactly how the target is handling his failed weekend. They both agree that Tuko really outdid herself with this plan. Waiting until the very last second to pull the rug out from under him was a high-level power move. Kazumi explains that Tuko used herself as bait because she knows exactly what the cheater wants. She keeps the rest of the plan a secret, leaving Ishida to wonder about the target's true motives. The focus shifts to our main guy who has been stuck playing the role of the perfect boyfriend all morning. Ishida notes that Yu hasn't been allowed to let go of her hand for a single second. Over at the school festival, Karen is already looking for the next attraction to visit. Yu reminds her of her fear of ghosts. But she seems surprisingly brave today. She flashes a bright, blushing smile and insists that being by his side makes her feel safe regardless of the situation. The girl is in full clingy mode, dropping the love word right in front of everyone. Yu realizes that his small act of comfort after her rejection caused her to do a complete 180-degree turn in her behavior. Later that day, our boy is absolutely drained from his performance. He admits that his entire week has been consumed by university work and maintaining his perfect boyfriend persona with zero time to rest. They discuss the shift in her heart, wondering if her feelings are actually changing or if she is just lashing out at her ex. Either way, things are finally moving in the right direction. Looking at her reflection in her drink, Tuko drops a bomb about how hearts can change. Yu is left hanging, wondering what other possibilities she could be talking about. She looks him dead in the eyes, suggesting that maybe Karen finally realized he is the best thing that ever happened to her. Yu just stares back in shock, unable to believe what he is hearing. Tuko tells him to rethink the whole situation because there is no way things are that simple. Yu grits his teeth and demands to know what she is actually getting at. She gets serious, warning him that once they pull the trigger on this plan, there is no coming back. He needs to decide right now if hurting Karen is truly what he is after. Yu notes that there are no second chances in this game. Even looking at Karen's smiling face doesn't make him feel anything anymore. But he starts to wonder if Tuko is actually the one having second thoughts. Yu doubles down, insisting that he is only playing the boyfriend role to make the plan work. Tuko just watches him, silent as he makes his resolve clear. Tuko apologizes for testing him, admitting she was ready to finish this alone if he bailed. Yu cracks a smile, telling her not to be so cold since they are in this together. Tuko laughs off the tension and reminds him they are comrades in arms now. Time to stop apologizing and focus on the next phase of the operation. Yu introduces her to a bunch of camera and filter apps, which feels a bit random to her. He doesn't hesitate to start explaining how these digital tools fit into the trap. The scene shifts to a famous cafe near the university that is absolutely slammed for its all-you-can-eat special. Yu navigates the crowd with his tray, sticking to the script his senpai laid out. Kazumi spots him and immediately waves him over to join her group. She is already surrounded by circle girls, giving him the perfect opening to bridge the gap. He secures a seat as the girls start wondering how he got on the upperclassmen's radar. Everything is falling into place just like they rehearsed. One of the girls jokes about keeping their hands off the first years. Kazumi plays it cool, mentioning their chance meeting at the library while she was with Tuko. The conversation takes a sharp turn toward his romantic life. Word spreads that he is already taken, locking in his reputation before things get even more complicated. The girls dive straight into the gossip, asking if he is really the one dating Karen. Yu just gives them a friendly smile and confirms it without missing a beat. Meet the heavy hitters of the circle, Yuri and Minami, who start sizing him up immediately. They cannot help but note how cute he looks, even joking that he would be a total knockout with some makeup. Ayaka and Mina join in, though they seem a bit more skeptical about the whole pairing. One of them even sighs that it is a total waste for a guy like him to be off the market. These four ladies are not just random students, they are the ones who actually run the show in this circle. They clearly have some strong opinions about his girlfriend that they are not hiding very well. The mask starts to slip as they admit her personality flips the second there are guys around. Yu keeps his poker face on, privately thinking about how much this would annoy him if he did not already know she was a cheater. They keep digging the grave, complaining about how Karen used to hog the bathroom for 30 minutes during their summer training camp. It is safe to say she has not made many friends among the girls in her circle. Our boy plays the perfect oblivious boyfriend, defending her by saying she is still a good person at heart. The girls just stare back with hollow eyes, clearly feeling a mix of pity and guilt for the poor guy. One of the girls tries to walk back their harsh comments, reminding Yu that his girlfriend must have some good qualities. He just plays it off with a polite smile, telling them it is no big deal. He doubles down on the loyal boyfriend act, declaring his total faith in Karen and claiming a good partner always backs their girl up. Kazumi watches him for a beat before shifting gears, asking if he still has the photo he took earlier. She pulls up a group selfie and points out that something feels slightly off about how it turned out. This is the exact signal they rehearsed. Kazumi makes her move to steer the conversation right into the trap they set. When the girls ask for his opinion, Yu acts curious and leans in for a closer look. He admits it could be better and offers to give it a quick edit. He starts working his magic on the app, carefully tweaking the shadows and contrast to keep the look natural. The girls are floored by the transformation, wondering how a first-year guy is such a pro with editing tools. Yu just gives a humble explanation, mentioning he once spent a lot of time researching how to build camera apps himself. Our boy plays it humble, admitting he once tried building his own camera app for some side cash, but is still stuck in the research phase. The girls are already sold on his effort alone. The conversation shifts as they ask for his professional picks. One of the girls mentions her favorites for natural shots and editing. They start comparing apps on their phones, realizing there's a lot they have not figured out. Our boy points out a hidden customization menu that completely changes the game for them. He drops some knowledge on photography basics, introducing them to the law of thirds. He explains how dividing the screen helps frame a perfect shot. He credits his expertise to tips he got from Tuko and her modeling circle. The girls are floored by how much better their photos look with just a little natural light. Kazumi chimes in to vouch for him, mentioning how much his help with programming has saved her. Suddenly, everyone wants a private lesson from the campus's new tech genius. The girls cheer, officially crowning him as their go-to guy for all things tech and photography. Yu catches the signal and knows it is time to wrap things up. He realizes that the 2 strokes on the wristwatch mean it is time for the retreat order. Knowing that overstaying his welcome would kill the mood, Yu decides to leave the group wanting more. He apologizes and claims he has a promise to keep with a friend, making a smooth exit while the girls are still fully engaged. He leaves them with a casual offer to help with their programming assignments anytime they need it. The girls wave and thank him as he walks away, completely won over by his helpful new persona. Later that night, Yu gets a call from Tuko, who tells him he did a great job today. She mentions that the girls could not stop praising him even after he left the cafe. Tuko explains that building this perfect reputation is the ultimate trap for Karen. Once the news of the cheating breaks, everyone will take his side while his girlfriend ends up being disliked by everyone. She is surprised by how much he studied in such a short time to pull off the tech expert act. Yu stays humble and gives all the credit to her guidance. Tuko admits that things were easy because he set everything up so well. While she talks, she flips through a cookbook, mentioning she needs to work hard on her part of the plan too. Tuko stops him before he can hang up, mentioning she has one more thing to say. She promises to reach out again the moment there is any movement on the other side. He asks what is on her mind. She brings up the conditions for being cute that they were talking about earlier. Yu admits he has an answer but is struggling to find the right words. Tuko looks thrilled and asks if he finally reached a conclusion. Her expression shifts as she reminds herself that she cannot repeat the same mistake as last time. Yu decides he needs to tell her properly this time. He wants to gather his real thoughts and describe exactly what makes her cute. He explains that his previous answer was just a generic and safe definition. He believes that what is considered cute is actually different for every person. Our boy decides to go for it and asks for a favor. He asks if she can give him just 1 day of her time. Tuko gets dead serious, telling him she is fine with him giving up if she misses the mark on her cute essay. Yu takes the bait and asks for a time, locking in a date for next Sunday, setting the meet for 8 a.m. sharp at Kemigawahama Station. Yu basically asks her to wake up at dawn. He adds to the confusion by telling the campus queen to wear sneakers and comfy clothes. Confusion hits hard as Tuko asks if this is a field trip or still about the definition of cute. Our boy keeps the mystery alive, simply telling her they are going on a bit of a ride. Finalizing the plans for Sunday brings a massive wave of relief to our boy. He clutches his phone and thanks God that he actually managed to secure the date. Determination fuels his research as he pulls up maps of the Boso Peninsula to find the perfect spot on Mount Nokogiri. He grabs his camera with a sharp gaze, ready to execute his secret strategy. It is finally Sunday morning at the station, and Tuko finds our boy waiting in the car earlier than expected. He tells her he wanted to return the favor since she is usually the early one. As she hops in, she notices this ride isn't a rental like usual. Yu reveals he borrowed it from his parents while Tuko secretly admires how clean he looks in casual clothes. Tuko asks where they are headed as Yu pulls up the GPS. He decides they are going to Minami Boso because he wants to get some high-quality shots today. The idea of a photo shoot catches Tuko a bit off guard. Yu reassures her by promising to hand over all the photos and data once the day is done. He turns to her with a serious expression. He says that these photos will be his definitive answer to her. After a short silence, Tuko decides to trust the process. They roll through the toll booth as she agrees to let him handle all the plans for the day. The weather is perfect as they cruise down the highway. Tuko asks for the specific spot, and Yu reveals they are heading to the legendary Mount Nokogiri. Tuko admits she has never actually been here before, giving our boy a chance to see a totally new side of her. They look up to find a massive stone Buddha head staring back. She wonders if this is part of the biggest stone statue in Japan, and Yu simply confirms it. After stopping to offer a prayer, Yu realizes he was worried for nothing about her being interested in this stuff. She just laughs it off and says there's no way she would be bored. Tuko starts talking about how history is getting popular with girls lately, but gets cut off by the sound of Yu camera shutter. She scolds him for taking surprise photos, but Yu claims he is just trying to capture the most natural vibes. He promises to give her the memory card later, so she knows he is not trying anything shady. They are almost at the peak, but Tuko looks like she just saw a ghost as they reach the final stairs. They finally make it to the famous view of Hell Cliff, and Tuko is instantly regretting her life choices. Yu asks if she really wants to quit now that they have made it all this way. Our boy reaches out and offers a hand to Tuko. telling her to grab on if she is really that scared. She is clearly embarrassed, but her legs are basically jelly at this point. She finally caves and takes his hand, but not without a warning. She tells him not to expect her to go diving into his arms just because she is terrified of the height. Yu is still clicking away with his camera while they are on the edge. Tuko is fuming that he is prioritizing the perfect shot over her safety, but he just tells her she was making a great face. She gets even more triggered when he starts joking about the cliff collapsing during a disaster. He just flashes a smile and promises that he would definitely be the one to save her if things went south. An old couple walks past and calls them a cute pair, which sends her embarrassment into overdrive. She immediately drags him away, telling him to stop talking nonsense and move to the next spot. Realizing he might have pushed her buttons a little too hard, our MC suggests they head to Okinoshima next. Tuko just keeps her head down and mumbles that he is a total idiot. They arrive at a breathtaking beach where the vibes are much more chill. Yu explains the history of how the land changed after a massive quake, and the trivia actually manages to capture her interest. Tuko is loving the quiet vibes and admits she prefers the tranquil atmosphere of this spot. Yu just hangs back with his camera, taking it all in. Looking out at the coast, Yu realizes he missed a prime sunset opportunity, but tries to play it off. Tuko gets a bit flustered as he suddenly rushes her toward the island to check out the natural pools and caves. She flashes a rare, genuine smile and agrees that it sounds like a good time. Tuko is officially on high alert after hearing a camera shutter, but Yu just hits her with the ultimate gaslight. He plays it cool and claims she is just hearing things. Our boy finally drops the act and admits he is just waiting for the moments when she lets her guard down. He is determined to capture her most natural self. They finally step onto the sand, and Tuko is instantly won over by how cute the beach looks. Tuko is practically a kid again, pointing out clear water and fish swimming by. Even Yu has to admit that the quality of this spot is top tier for his first visit. Tuko spots some fish in the shallow water and calls for Yu to come see. She is radiating pure childhood energy. Yu thinks she is acting just like a little kid as he watches through his lens. Then disaster strikes as her foot slips on the wet rocks. Her hat flies off as she begins to tumble toward the ground. Yu rushes in for the save. Our boy pulls her into a tight embrace to keep her steady. There are no injuries, but the mood just shifted. Proximity overload. Her brain is in total meltdown as the tension hits an all-time high. Tuko immediately grills him for snapping a photo during the hug. He swears his finger just slipped on the shutter by accident. Awkwardness levels are through the roof. It is officially time to pack it up and leave. Back in the car and safely dry, Tuko thanks him for holding her up and preventing a total disaster. She turns on the charm with a bright smile. Turns out she forgot to say thank you properly earlier, so she is making up for it now. Next stop is the lighthouse. Tuko is straight up teasing him about being his savior while our boy Yu just stares out the window with a heavy blush. Yu watches through the lens as she soaks in the ocean air. Tuko leans against the railing and admits she has no idea what he is thinking. She asks for a pass on her behavior today while Yu stays busy with his camera. Staring out at the Pacific Ocean, Yu lists off all the continents waiting across the water as the scale of the world sets in. Tuko drops her guard and shares a secret dream. She asks if he would laugh at her for wanting to sail around the world in a yacht. Tuko admits her dream of sailing the world is just unrealistic talk from a book she read as a kid. She adds that her father shares a deep love for the sea. The conversation shifts to the history of lighthouses. Back in the day, these beacons were the only source of hope for sailors lost in the pitch-black night. Her hair catches the wind as she reveals the meaning behind her name. It turns out her father named her Tuko specifically because of those guiding lights. She looks ahead with a soft expression. Her father wanted her to become a person who provides hope and light to everyone around her. Yu is left speechless, realizing Tuko has been his lighthouse since the day his heart was broken. The deep moment is suddenly cut short when a strange crying sound drifts over from the rocks. Scanning the coastline, they spot a little boy sitting alone and sobbing his eyes out. He took a nasty spill on the jagged rocks and is clearly in a lot of pain. Tuko immediately jumps into action to help. She pulls out her supplies and carefully applies a bandage to the kid's scraped knee. Yu suggests they start by tracking down the kid's parents to get his knee properly treated. Tuko asks for directions and the boy points them straight toward the lighthouse. The little guy explains he only got lost because he was busy chasing a crab that eventually got away. Yu gives him a piggyback ride as they continue the search along the shore. Out of nowhere, the kid drops a logic bomb by asking if they are currently on a date. Our boy Yu instantly loses his cool as his face turns bright red. Yu tries to give a vague answer to keep things simple, but the kid is not having it. He immediately declares they must be lovers, leaving Yu stunned by the wild leap in logic. Apparently some girl named Mi-chan taught him that if people go on a date, they are automatically a couple. Tuko starts giggling at the situation while Yu wonders who is filling this kid's head with these ideas. Tuko decides to join in on the teasing, agreeing that if Mi-chan said it, then it must be true. She breaks into a fit of laughter as Yu stands there looking betrayed by his senpai. Yu watches Tuko's genuine smile for a moment before the search finally comes to an end. The boy spots his mother nearby and shouts out for her. Yu hands the kid back to his mom with a friendly warning to stay close from now on. Tuko can't help but laugh as she snaps a candid photo of the wholesome moment. The kid waves goodbye as the duo decides it's finally time to find some lunch. Tuko notices Yu's surprised face and asks if it's really that weird for her to like kids. They dig into a local specialty bowl that looks absolutely delicious. Our boy admits he didn't expect whale meat to taste so much like actual beef. Tuko drops some deep biological facts about how whales are actually related to cows and pigs. Yu is impressed, calling her the legendary goddess of the library. The vibe shifts instantly as Tuko shuts him down with a serious look. She tells him to stop because she actually hates being called that. Yu immediately panics and apologizes while she pouts about him not understanding her. She looks away with a huff, claiming she isn't just some accessory or goddess. Our boy sits there looking distressed, wondering how he managed to mess up the mood so fast. Luckily, a couple of soft-serve cones are enough to fix everything. Tuko is back to her cheerful self while praising his choice in sweets. He watches her happy expression and realizes she has a surprisingly simple and cute side. Tuko offers him a taste of her honey-flavored cone. Yu takes a bite without thinking and suddenly realizes the weight of the situation. His brain starts doing backflips over the indirect kiss. Tuko is totally unbothered and asks for a taste of his ice cream too. Tuko tries his peanut-flavored cone and likes the taste. Yu is still internally screaming while she keeps the vibe casual. Yu catches her off guard with a quick photo. She gets super embarrassed by the sudden camera work while he finds the reaction adorable. They keep moving until they reach the final destination of the day. The view is incredible and the silence is even better. Tuko admits she really likes the peaceful atmosphere here. Tuko admits she had way more fun today than she ever had with her actual boyfriend. She even confesses to feeling a little jealous of Karen. Tuko assumes our boy is always taking girls to scenic spots like this, but he's quick to set the record straight. He admits he never took Karen to nature spots because she only cared about trendy city shopping. The realization hits him hard while looking out at the view. He and Karen didn't have a single thing in common, from their favorite places to their actual feelings for each other. Tuko asks if he ever considered breaking up before the cheating came to light. She admits she had those thoughts too, but just figured doubts were a normal part of the relationship package. She was just putting it off to avoid the awkward vibes of a post-relationship split. That was until she saw the reality of the situation with her own eyes. Tuko admits she was vaguely aware of the cheating but chose to look away. She thought he was just a lonely guy who needed a crowd to feel important, like he was collecting people to fill a void. Since he still prioritized her, she convinced herself his cheating was just a momentary lapse. She realizes now that she was probably just his favorite accessory to show off to the world. She starts to doubt herself and wonders if she just lacks any real charm. Yu isn't letting her go down that dark path and shuts her down with a passionate shout. Yu keeps the praise coming, telling Tuko she is a charming woman whose appeal goes way beyond just her looks. He takes a seat and starts digging through his bag to prove his point. He hands her the camera and tells her to take a look. Tuko is curious about what he caught, and her eyes go wide as she sees the first few shots. The screen is full of candid shots showing off her natural expressions and defenseless smiles. Yu explains that this genuine, happy version of her is what he found truly wonderful today. He smiles and admits that showing her these was his real goal for the trip. This is his official report, and Tuko is left completely speechless. Tuko stares at the camera in silence, her eyes shimmering as the sentiment hits her. She admits these are the best photos ever taken of her, even more so than the ones from professional shoots. She gives him a smile that is pure sunshine, saying these memories are more precious than any studio work. Our boy is left blushing and totally caught off guard by her radiant energy. The long day finally comes to an end as Tuko says her goodbyes near the car. She thanks him for the most fun she has had on a day off in a very long time. Yu finally works up the courage to ask about the vibe of their outing. Tuko just smirks back as she waits for him to finish his thought. She gives him a bright smile and an excellent rating, casually mentioning that his name fits him perfectly. Our boy wishes her a good night as she waves goodbye and heads off. Yu finally breathes easy now that he is alone in the car. A sudden realization stops him cold as her parting words finally start to sink in. The thought of it being a real date sends his brain into overdrive. He can hardly believe she might have actually been serious. Back on campus, the vibes are already shifting as Tuko hands Tetsuya a handmade bento. A bright smile meets his stunned silence as he takes in the sudden gift. Making up for the canceled trip is her main excuse, and she claims it is time to act more like a proper girlfriend. Another one is even promised for later if he likes her cooking. Tetsuya keeps his reaction low-key, but Karen is already losing her mind in the background. A heavy sigh escapes her as she watches the show they are putting on. Karen is officially triggered, asking you if these two are actually stupid. Our boy just keeps his head down and focuses on his food to avoid the drama. She goes on a total rant about how the cafeteria is not a place for flirting or bringing outside food. The hypocrisy is off the charts since she is literally eating a bento with cute bear rice balls right now. Karen turns to you for some validation, and he does not miss a beat. He gives her the perfect yes man response to keep his cover intact. The list of things Yu wants to call out is growing by the second, especially with how flirty Tuco is acting. He forces himself to stay calm and keep up the act to avoid blowing his cover. Karen is clearly over it seeing Tuco act so sweet, calling the whole performance super disappointing. She expected a cold queen, not someone acting this thirsty. Sucking on his milk carton, our boy just nods along with the salt. He knows exactly why Tuco is doing this, even if it makes Karen lose her mind. Cut to a phone call from right before their secret trip. Tuco hits up Yu because she needs a little pro advice on how to handle the next phase. She wants to know what kind of things guys actually like so she can mess with Tetsuya even harder. Yu stops to think of the most effective trap. Tuco is not about to spend her cash or her time on a cheater, so basic gifts are out. She is looking for high impact with zero effort. A light bulb goes off as Yu searches for a plan that costs nothing but hits like a truck. He wants something that will live rent-free in the guy's head forever. A handmade bento is the ultimate psychological weapon because it will make him suffer every time he sees a lunchbox. Tuco is already on board with the plan. Tuco hesitates on the other end of the line. She thinks it is a brilliant idea, but there's just one small problem. The truth comes out that our library goddess is a total disaster in the kitchen. Yu is caught off guard because he thought she could do everything perfectly. Our boy just tells her to relax and use frozen food instead. He explains that she can just toss them into the lunchbox straight from the bag without even thawing them out. Tuco is hit with massive culture shock as Yu lists off all the gourmet frozen options available these days. He insists the quality is high enough to fool anyone. He suggests she makes a trip to the supermarket to see the selection for herself. She agrees to give it a shot and takes his lead. Flash forward to the present where Yu is just finishing off his milk. He wraps up the story of how the plan started while Karen sits there looking like she is about to blow a fuse. Meanwhile, Tetsuya is happily eating the store-bought food and thinking he has the perfect woman. He has no idea he is munching on a frozen meatball. This bento looks like five-star dining with those glazed meatballs and fresh spinach. It is definitely a masterpiece for a meal that took 5 minutes to assemble. Our boy finishes his milk and gives a silent shout-out to the frozen food industry. He is genuinely impressed by how high the quality is for something that came out of a bag. Tuco is radiating pure joy now that the mission is a success. Yu realizes that even if it is all part of the act, her genuine vibe is actually pretty effective. Things get awkward fast as Karen starts complaining about how seeing the target couple kills her appetite. Yu finds himself actually agreeing with her because the room is feeling heavy. The piece is officially over when more circle members show up looking for a table. Manami and the rest of the squad are ready to crash since the cafeteria is completely packed. The table gets crowded as everyone starts moving chairs and making themselves at home. Yu just plays the nice guy and helps them out while they shower him with thanks. The girls throw out a fake apology for crashing their date, but the tension is thick enough to cut. Karen makes it clear she is not interested in small talk and is ready to get out of there. The cafeteria is a total war zone, so the girls decide to skip the long line and come back when it dies down. Manami spots Yu and calls him over, saying she finally found the guy she was looking for. The crew brings up the programming help he offered because they are struggling big time. Our boy just gives a chill smile and agrees to help once they explain the details. Since they are officially working together now, the girls realize they still don't even have his contact info. Karen is standing right there, looking like she is absolutely not feeling this vibe. Yu hands over his details and Mina asks if she can pass the number around to the rest of the girls. He tells her it's no problem at all. Ayaka drops a sly comment about how awkward it is to ask for his number right in front of his girlfriend. Karen stays dead silent, but her expression shows she is definitely holding back a storm. Karen puts on a performative smile and tells everyone it's fine because her man only has eyes for her. Yu just stands there looking like a nervous wreck as the tension keeps building. The circle girls are doing too much, gushing over how Yu claimed Karen as his girl last time. They are calling him a devoted boyfriend while Karen just tries to figure out what happened to the vibe. All that praise keeps coming as they call him a kind soul who puts up with her constant selfishness. One of them even questions if calling it a bit is even accurate. Karen decides she has seen enough and storms out of the cafeteria. Yu has to ditch the group and scramble after her as she demands to know when he became so close with them. She cuts him off with a heavy silence that fills the hallway. The pressure between them is thick enough to choke on. They make a quick escape while the circle girls settle in to use the table. Behind their backs, the group wonders how a guy like Yu can even stand being around someone so difficult. Back in the hall, Yu starts making excuses about meeting them at a cafe by chance. He claims he was only helping with some programming homework, but Karen is not buying the friendly act. Our boy doubles down on the logic, saying it is just networking since they are all in the same circle. Karen reacts with frustration as she realizes her control over him is slipping away. She immediately starts laying into him for being too friendly. No fawning over other girls allowed, since it apparently makes him look desperate. He can barely believe his ears. Coming from her, that has to be the biggest joke of the century. Yu tries to play the peacekeeper. He claims he was only being friendly to make sure the other girls did not make her life a living hell. Karen insists that the rest of the circle is just trying to steal her man. Our boy just sighs, knowing her read on the situation is totally off base. She genuinely believes being direct is her best trait. Yu watches her close the distance, wondering how she can be this delusional about her own personality. The irony hits a new peak as she begs him never to stray. She squeezes his hands, demanding that he only ever focus on her. A wall of silence is the only response he can manage. He has 1,000 comebacks ready to go, but he keeps the mask on for now. Tuco pulls him aside for a quick strategy meeting, warning him that they cannot let a single soul suspect what they are up to. Yu can feel the weight of the secret as he tries to keep his poker face together. Out in the hallway, Yu turns on the charm and swears that Karen is the only girl in his world. She falls for the act completely, and it is honestly a bit scary how easily she believes his lies. Our boy Yu is starting the day with a cryptic phone call. He confirms the plan with a sharp yes, looking ready to stir up some drama. That massive suitcase in the back is definitely hiding something important. December is officially here, and the university circle is prepping for a massive farewell party. It is the perfect opportunity for Yu to boost his reputation with the group. He slams the trunk shut and prepares to head out. A camping trip that only lasts one day is a total mood. Ishida cannot help but squint at the weirdly short schedule. Coordinating an overnight stay for a huge group is a budget killer, so they are sticking to the basics. Ishida calls out the weak planning, saying this is basically just a glorified barbecue. Yu just keeps driving and takes the roast in stride. Ishida is sharp and catches on to Yu's suspicious move to volunteer for cooking duty. Our boy just gives a smug look, knowing his plan is already in motion. Flashback, Tuco told him he needs to win over every girl in the circle during this event. Ishida thinks hitting them with 5-star food is a galaxy brain strategy. Yu admits that cooking was the only play that made sense. Yu reveals he was strictly trained by his dad and promises to dominate the grill. Ishida knows his cooking is good enough to sell at a restaurant, giving him the green light. The stage is set for a masterclass in social acting. Yu is really out here flexing with a Dutch oven roast chicken and a small dessert to top it off. He is leaving nothing to chance today. While driving to the campsite, Ishida points out how awkward it is that Tuco is stuck in the car with Kamakura. It is a tough spot, but Yu knows it cannot be helped. Tuco is essentially a prisoner in that car with her cheating boyfriend, but she has to stay professional. To the rest of the world, they still look like a happy couple. Luckily, Karen had to carpool with a different group because they live nearby. She is doing the most and complaining about why Yu did not pick her up personally. Ishida asks if the gourmet food is the whole plan while they vibe to some anime songs. Yu explains that Tuco gave him a list of specific instructions for the event. The strategy is to be a helpful king and keep things light with everyone. Ishida is worried that Karen will not take the lack of attention very well. Triggering a little jealousy is exactly what Tuco wants. Our boy is staying focused on the mission while Karen fusses in the background. Tuco's orders are clear. Yu needs to bond with the guys to look like a social king while she handles the kitchen. Ishida is already asking how he can help. Ishida pulls out a frisbee like he was born for this. Since they are finally in an open area, they might as well get some cardio in. The plan is to boost his status with the girls, but Ishida keeps it real. Even with a secret mission, they should still enjoy the vibe. He cannot afford to fail this time. Recalling how his past efforts with Karen often backfired, he is staying extra sharp today. Once they reach the campsite, the call for the cooking team to assemble goes out. It is time to get those preparations started. Our boy starts working his magic at the grill. One of the girls watches with interest as he handles the equipment like a pro. Their fire is acting up, and she needs a specialist. Yu agrees to take a look, stepping right into his role as the helpful guy. Our boy breaks out the premium Bincho charcoal to show one of the girls how it is done. He explains that while it burns for ages, getting it lit in the first place is a whole different story. He decides to use some of his already lit charcoal to jumpstart the process and tells her to hang tight. The strategy is to work smarter, not harder. The grill is finally roaring and the girl is treated to a front row seat for the save of a lifetime. He plays it cool and tells her to call him again if she runs into more trouble. Seeing the girls give him a thumbs up is all the confirmation he needs that the plan is working. With his reputation on the rise, he starts prepping his own roast chicken for the main event. He carefully layers the veggies and seasoned chicken before sealing it all up with hot coals on top. Just as he finishes the setup, someone calls out his name from behind. Another disaster strikes as one of the girls presents a piece of meat that is charcoal on the outside and raw on the inside. Our MC looks on, wondering how she managed to fail this hard at basic cooking. He gives a quick lesson on why cooking frozen meat over a high flame is a rookie mistake. To get it right, you have to let it reach room temperature and keep the heat under control. He helps her scrape away the burnt parts and gives her a pro tip on meat placement. She is definitely impressed by his sudden kitchen saves. Word travels fast, and now every group wants his help with their fire. It seems like the entire site is filled with rookies who need a mentor. Our MC gets swamped by the attention and tries to act surprised. He realizes that things are moving even faster than he anticipated. Ishida notes that his buddy is basically a celebrity now. The girls chime in that a guy who knows his way around the woods is top-tier material. When the girls ask Tuko if she thinks he is reliable, she just plays it cool with a mysterious smile. She is not giving anything away just yet. Kazumi tells Ishida to step up his game, but he is only there for the buffet. He gets a quick scolding for trying to talk back. He tells the girls to let the pot simmer while he works on his main project. Everyone is hyped when they hear he is making a full roast chicken in the Dutch oven. The girls are blown away by his effort and think he is in a league of his own. Yu tries to act casual about it, but his girlfriend is already moving in to pull him away. Yu breaks the news that they still have a 20-minute wait before the meat is ready. Karen is not having it and makes sure he knows exactly how hungry she is. He tries to settle her down with a bowl of soup that is already prepared. Karen is happy for the snack, but Tuko just watches the display with a blank expression. The main event is finally served as Yu calls out that the chicken and soup are ready for everyone. He starts handing out plates as the group swarms the cooking area. The first bites are a total success, and the reviews are coming in fast. Everyone is stunned by how much flavor he managed to pack into the meal. The Circle girls confirm that the food is even better than a restaurant. Yu is relieved his hard work paid off, while the rest of the guys just focus on eating. Kazumi is so impressed that she decides to drop a marriage proposal right there. Yu is stunned by the sudden move and can only ask why he is the one playing the role of the wife. The Circle girls are having the time of their lives eating the roast chicken. Karen stays on the sidelines, clearly not sharing the excitement. Success is in the air as the praise for the meal keeps rolling in. A sudden notification on his phone completely shifts the mood. He glances over at the couple and realizes the distance between them is a total lie. Sending a text from just a few feet away proves the situation is urgent. The message is a direct SOS from Tuko. She asks to ride home in his car because Tetsuya is being way too aggressive, ending with a desperate plea for rescue. It is obvious Tetsuya is planning to drag her off somewhere against her will. The pressure is getting hard to ignore, and Tuko is clearly looking for any way out. Yu offers to jump in immediately, but she insists on letting Kazumi handle the timing. He has to stay in the shadows for now since the official relationship is still standing. Seeing Tetsuya act like he owns the place is starting to get under his skin. Our boy is ready to burn the whole script and expose the cheating if it means getting her out of there. Yu picks up on the mood, suggesting something refreshing to help everyone recover from the heavy food. The group is totally on board, already calling out for some tea to settle their stomachs. The girls are in heaven with their desserts, making sure to capture the moment for social media. They are impressed by how thoughtful our boy is, and the sweet treats are hitting all the right spots. The boys shift gears to some outdoor activity, calling Yu over for a quick game of frisbee. He snaps out of his thoughts and agrees to join the fun. After snagging a catch, Yu looks a bit drained, and it does not go unnoticed. His friend pulls him aside to ask if everything is actually okay or if he is just putting on an act. While they walk, Yu quietly mentions that Tuko sent him a message just a moment ago. Their private conversation gets cut short when a loud shout comes from behind them. Karen pops up with her hand high in the air, announcing that she wants to join the game too. She is keeping up that cheerful persona to stay right in the center of things. The guys are caught off guard and can only manage a nervous reaction as they welcome her in. Karen is beaming, acting like she just wants to share in the excitement of the game. Yu starts feeling the pressure as the game gets a bit too intense. He suggests switching things up to volleyball so the girls can actually participate without struggling. Kazumi is all for it, mentioning that they can just invite the rest of the girls to join the fun. Karen is definitely not on board with the idea of sharing the spotlight. Our boy is already face-palming at the social drama, while his best friend offers some silent support. Kazumi keeps the energy high, claiming Karen has more than enough stamina to keep up with the new plan. Suddenly, Kazumi stops him in his tracks with a very specific question. The casual vibe shifts in an instant as she locks eyes with him. She wants to know if his back seats fold flat, and Yu immediately realizes she has a secret plan in motion. She asks if he can take her and Tuko back in his car, and he play it cool while agreeing. The cover story is that Tuko supposedly hurt her back and needs to lie down for the long ride home. Yu acts like a total gentleman and accepts, even though Karen is watching the whole thing with a suspicious look. While they start loading the heavy gear into the trunk, Kazumi announces the new travel arrangements to everyone else. Our boy stays silent and focused, knowing his chance to get Tuko alone is finally happening. Tetsuya realizes the plan and snaps. He demands to know since when they started making decisions on their own. He refuses to back down and insists he is the only one taking Tuko home. He gets aggressive and asks why they are even sticking their noses in. The argument gets heated as he doubles down on his car being the better choice. Everyone is clashing, but our boy stays firm and tells him to stop. Yu drops a truth bomb, asking if he even cares about what Tuko actually wants. The squad is stunned by his sudden display of backbone. Kazumi steps in to back him up, explaining that Tuko specifically asked for the switch. She is not letting him win this argument. He tries to play the nice guy card, promising to drive extra carefully for her. It is pure desperation at this point. Kazumi hits him with a logic trap, leaving the group completely speechless. The tension is through the roof. Tetsuya finally loses his cool and grabs Tuko by the shoulder. He tries to force the issue, telling her it is time to leave regardless of what anyone else thinks. Kazumi checks him immediately, pointing out that Tuko has a curfew and plans for the next morning. He tries to play it off, suggesting they can just drive through the night and take breaks. Her eyes go cold as she calls him out for being an egotistical man. She asks if he plans on carrying her into the ladies' room himself when she needs a break, leaving our boy and Ishida completely shook. She points her finger and tells him to start thinking before he speaks. Riding with her is a non-negotiable condition, and Tetsuya is left with zero comeback. Just as things reach a breaking point, Nagasaki comes running over to see what the drama is about. The group pauses their argument as he joins the circle. After getting the context, Nagasaki tells him to stop being so forceful. He agrees that letting her go back in the other car is the better move here. Ishida jumps in with a grin, saying he is joining the ride too. Since they won't be alone, there is no problem, and Tetsuya has officially run out of excuses. Tetsuya finally throws in the towel, claiming he is not that suspicious and suggesting they just tail the car if they are worried. Kazumi is done with the delays and tells everyone it is time to get moving. A heavy silence follows as they finally part ways. Out on the open road, the weight of the drama finally starts to sink in. Inside the car, Ishida is still coming down from the adrenaline of facing off against their senior. Kazumi apologizes for taking the lead, but Yu admits they never would have made it without her stepping up. Tuko admits she was genuinely scared by how persistent he was being back there. Kazumi vents about how stubborn the guy can be, while Yu offers a sincere thank you to both of them. Getting caught up in the moment, Kazumi pulls Tuko close and promises to be her personal shield from now on. Ishida jokes about the girls stealing all the spotlight, while the guys just laugh off the remaining tension. The vibe suddenly shifts when Tuko calls out to our boy from the back seat. She finally lets her guard down and tells him how much it meant to her that he came to help. A quiet thank you is the perfect end to a chaotic night. Ishida catches the vibe from the front seat and keeps it chill. He gives the green light with a simple no problem. The energy in the back seat is on a different level now. Tuko leans in with a gentle smile, asking if the situation is really that bad. Our MC is officially cooked, his face turning bright red as the teasing starts to land. Tetsuya casually shows a picture of his girlfriend to Nagasaki, who immediately catches the vibe and leans in with a smirk. Nagasaki asks him to introduce her sometime, wondering if she's from their university. Tetsuya just grins and says, "Yeah, you could say that," promising to introduce her when he gets the chance. But then Tetsuya's phone suddenly starts ringing, and he immediately gets ready to leave. Nagasaki asks if it's Tuko calling, but Tetsuya simply refuses to answer, replying with nothing more than a smug grin. Tetsuya grabs the bill and heads for the exit. He claims the girl is only a friend and says he is dipping out early. He gives a quick goodbye and vanishes. Nagasaki is left hanging at the table, completely confused by the sudden exit. Sitting alone, Nagasaki starts putting the pieces together. He wonders if that guy is back to his old habits again. Elsewhere, Tuko has prepared a full table of food while wearing her apron. She watches Yu take a bite and feels a wave of relief when he says the food is actually good. Tuko-senpai is visibly relieved that her cooking actually worked out. She admits this is her only good dish, but Yu is already a huge fan of the meal. Our boy asks if this is her secret weapon for the Christmas party. He encourages her by saying she will master the basics in no time. The calendar flips forward to December. Their long-awaited day for revenge is finally closing in. Yu is impressed by the effort she put in to fix her cooking skills. In their circle, it is apparently a tradition for girls to bring their own food to the holiday bash. He remembers how bad things were the first time around. His mind flashes back 2 weeks to when Tuko asked him for a massive favor. Tuko asked him to come over to her place, and our guy could barely believe his ears. He was completely caught off guard by the request. Cut to the scene of the crime. His initial excitement about visiting a girl's house was very short-lived once he actually arrived. Yu looks like he is about to face his doom as Tuko nervously presents her creation. She hesitantly admits there is something he needs to see. The spread includes deep-fried chicken, piglet back rib stew, and a whole cake. It looks like a feast, but the vibe is definitely off. One bite in, and our boy is fighting for his life. The chicken is a desert, the pork is practically raw, and the stew is a salt mine. She explains that she once tried to impress Tetsuya with a homemade bento. Yu is baffled that a total beginner would even attempt such a high-level menu. Yu jokes that he is really looking forward to her cooking at the Christmas party. Tuko forces a confident smile and tells him to leave it all to her. She admits she originally planned to stay out of the kitchen and focus on the revenge mission. However, her desire to win over Tetsuya made her brag about skills she definitely does not have. Yu cannot help but chuckle at the realization that she is a bit of a klutz when she acts on impulse. She begs him to stop teasing her about the massive blunder. Yu offers to teach her how to cook, and Tuko is all in for the lesson. They decide to prepare the ingredients together. Scene shift to the kitchen where Yu asks to use the space. Tuko gives him the green light since her parents and sister are out for the day. Yu is floored by how massive the kitchen is and asks about her family. Turns out both of her parents are high-level doctors. Her folks tried to push her toward medicine too, but she just was not interested in following their lead. Tuko finally realizes why he was so good at helping that injured kid during their trip. Our boy stays humble, claiming he just happened to have some band-aids on hand. Learning they have a housekeeper makes Yu realize they live in different worlds. He pulls it together and suggests they start on the deep-fried chicken. Rolling up his sleeves, Yu tells her to watch carefully as he takes over. Tuko focuses in as the cooking lesson officially begins. Tuko is scribbling notes as fast as she can while Yu drops the secrets to the perfect fry. He tells her the oil needs to be between 170 and 180 degrees to keep the meat from turning into a desert. She panics when he pulls the chicken out while it still looks pale, but he is one step ahead. He explains that the residual heat will finish the cooking process without drying it out. Doubtful, she takes a small bite to see if he is legit. Her eyes snap open in shock the moment she realizes he actually knows what he is talking about. The girl is officially impressed and thanks him for the life-changing tip. Yu points out that people usually overcook chicken trying to get that dark commercial color, but now she is ready to fly solo. The training arc continues as she calls him over for multiple tasting sessions. It is clear she has been grinding in the kitchen, judging by the collection of bandages on her fingers. In just 2 weeks, her skills have leveled up to the point where her food could be sold in a restaurant. Tuko is glowing after hearing such a huge compliment from her mentor. The vibe gets serious as she stops for a moment and looks him right in the eyes. She has something specific to ask our boy. Yu is caught off guard when Tuko mentions bringing their circle rep into the loop for the Christmas plan. It is a risky move since the guy is also the antagonist's best friend. But Tuko thinks it is a necessary step. The thought of a leak has our boy on edge, especially since their scheme involves making a massive scene on purpose. Tuko vouches for the senior's integrity, promising he is a fair guy who won't stand for any foul play. He is also the only one with enough pull to keep Tetsuya in line if the situation gets out of hand. Yu decides to handle the awkward confrontation himself, but a grateful Tuko is not about to let him go solo. With the big event only a week away, the clock is officially ticking on their high-stakes revenge arc. Tuko confirms the plan, and Yu can only stare back in silence. The weight of their next move is finally starting to set in. Elsewhere, Nakazaki is relaxing on the couch with a girl. She notices him glued to his phone and asks if more circle drama is going down. Nakazaki asks if she recognizes the name Ishiki Yu, but Rumi has zero clue. She wonders if he is just some first year she has never bothered to meet. He tells her she should actually show her face at the club once in a while. She is not having it, claiming she is just not the outdoorsy type. The vibe gets weird when Nakazaki mentions his kuhai wants to meet up for something important. Rumi immediately starts teasing him, asking if the guy is about to drop a confession. She keeps the jokes coming, wondering why he would need anyone else when he has her. He tells her to stop the nonsense and keep it moving. A text pops up on his screen asking for a private meeting with no witnesses. Nakazaki is officially confused by the sudden request for a solo talk. Looking at his phone, Nakazaki has no clue what this meeting is actually about. Still, a bad vibe starts creeping in as he processes the cryptic request. The big question remains whether he is actually a secret ally or just another obstacle. Kazumi is out cold in the middle of a classroom until Ishida decides to wake the defenseless senpai up. Her eyes slowly flutter open as he keeps calling her name. He warns her that sleeping there is a great way to catch a cold, but she's already moving into teasing mode. She gives him a sly look and calls him bold for sneaking up behind her. Ishida isn't having it. telling her she's just being overly self-conscious and acting like an old man. She gives a big stretch and lets her coat slip right off the chair while laughing. Kazumi drops a spicy comment about going without things for far too long, leaving our boy Ishida absolutely flustered and speechless. Trying to get the vibe back to normal, he asks about her lunch plans only to find out she's totally broke. He knows she won't last until tonight on an empty stomach, so he offers to lend her some cash. Kazumi treats him like a literal lifesaver and promises to pay him back the second her paycheck drops. She's so happy that she even asks what she can do to repay the favor. Ishida goes quiet for a second to weigh his options and decide on his price. Instead of cash, he asks her to be his fake girlfriend for the day of the Christmas party. She thinks he's just desperate to not be alone, but he's actually worried about you and the upcoming best couple contest. Ishida lays out the logic for the plan. He thinks joining the contest will make it easier to back their friends up if things go south. Kazumi is actually impressed by his dedication. She admits she did not realize our boy was such a ride-or-die friend. She finally agrees for the sake of Tuko and the cash. Ishida wishes she had skipped the part about the money. Kazumi immediately shuts down any romantic vibes. She warns him that this is not a rom-com and he is just the comedian about to get dumped. Switching scenes to Nagasaki looking lost, he is struggling to process the news he just received. Yu drops the heavy truth about Karen and Tetsuya. Nagasaki cannot believe his friend would do that, but Yu is not backing down. Tuko decides it is time for the receipts. She hands over a stack of photos that leave Nagasaki speechless. Nagasaki stares at the receipts of the betrayal, from the cozy couple photos to the nauseatingly sweet texts between Tetsuya and Karen. He can hardly believe his eyes, asking what they even expect him to do with this information. Our MC does not hold back, telling the Circle rep that they are going to blast this whole affair wide open at next week's Christmas party. Nagasaki is stunned by the sheer scale of the plan. Nagasaki panics, reminding them that blowing things up at the Christmas party will turn into a disaster. Tuko stays calm and asks if he finally understands why they need his help. Tuko looks back on the lies Tetsuya fed her since high school, realizing he was already cheating while promising to stay together forever. The betrayal cuts deep, knowing he was playing her the entire time. Yu admits that he was just as deceived as she was, thinking Karen was special, even if she was overly friendly with other guys. He truly believed her when she said he was the only one she really loved. Clenching his fist, Yu makes it clear that he is done with Karen for good. Nagasaki lets out a heavy sigh, finally admitting that he understands exactly why they have to do this. Nagasaki breaks it down, realizing they want him to be the one to clean up the mess once the secret is out. Tuko agrees, confessing that she doesn't know how Tetsuya will react once his world comes crashing down. The team reveals their small circle of trust, naming Kazumi and Yuta as the only others in the loop. Nagasaki realizes why Kazumi joined the club in the first place, his mind finally connecting all the dots. They plead with him to keep the secret under wraps, knowing that a single leak would give the cheaters time to cook up a fake alibi. Our boy is basically begging for his silence at this point. Tuko puts all her cards on the table, explaining they only trusted him with this because they believed he was a reasonable man. Nagasaki just holds up a hand to stop the noise while he processes the pressure. He gives his word that he won't snitch, but admits he needs some time to process the actual public reveal. He is clearly weighing how this bombshell is going to land on the rest of the group. His mind drifts to the innocent members of the circle who are genuinely hyped for a normal happy holiday. Nagasaki isn't sold on stealing everyone's Christmas joy just to settle their personal score. Tuko can only watch in suspense as he prepares to deliberate on their extreme plan. The vibe gets heavy as they realize they haven't fully convinced him to back their play. Tuko starts to spiral, worried that if the rep rejects the plan, their whole mission is dead on arrival. Yu tells Tuko to hang back for a second while he handles business. He sprints off before she can even protest, leaving her calling out after him. Chasing him down outside the restaurant, our boy catches up to Nagasaki for one final plea. He admits this part of the conversation wasn't fit for Tuko's ears and begs for a moment of his time. Nagasaki isn't exactly thrilled to be stopped again. Yu drops a hint that the fallout of this cheating scandal is going to hit more people than they think. Getting straight to the point, Yu explains that he knows the rep wants to protect the circle from their messy revenge. But the truth is, Karen might not be the only victim of Tetsuya's wandering hands. Dropping the hammer, Yu reveals he spotted the antagonist heading into the hotel district with another girl from their group. He has to get the rep to agree now, or the entire plan falls apart. Nagasaki goes cold and asks for a name. Yu hesitates, trying to pull the identity from his memory since they have never actually spoken. Connecting the dots, Yu recalls a second-year student. He lets the name Hirota slip, and the look on Nakazaki's face says it all. Our boy finally connects the dots and drops the name Rumi Hirota. The rep looks like he just saw a ghost, begging for this to be a mistake. Yu tells him his boy Ishida can back it all up. Nagasaki is clearly going through it and needs some space. He promises to hit Yu up by tonight, leaving our MC standing there with a question mark. Tuko is low-key heated that Yu ran off into the cold without his gear. She hands over his jacket and backpack while demanding to know what happened. While bundling up, Yu admits he tried to give the rep one last nudge. He is not sure if he actually convinced the man or just broke him. The rep walks away looking absolutely drained. Our boy can only watch and wonder what is going on in that dude's head. Elsewhere, Nakazaki is on the phone and he sounds pale. He tells Rumi she needs to pull up to his house right now for a talk. Later that night, the phone rings and it is a total vibe check. Nakazaki's voice is shaky, but he gives the go-ahead to expose the cheaters. Yu slams his desk in shock as the rep drops the ultimate truth bomb. Nakazaki reveals that Rumi is actually his girl. And he just confirmed that the antagonist has been out here collecting hearts like Pokemon. Yu can barely stutter out a response while the rep vents his frustration. Nakazaki thought the guy had finally changed for the better, but now he wants Yu to make sure the final roast is extra crispy. Our boy is sweating bullets as he tries to ask about the conversation with Rumi. Nakazaki promises he did not blow their cover, but Yu was clearly looking for a different answer. Yu asks the heavy question about forgiveness, but the rep is already deep in his feelings. Nakazaki admits he kept his relationship a secret, so he cannot even be mad at the antagonist for making a move. Backtracking to how it all started, the stress was hitting a peak for the couple. Nakazaki had just taken over as circle president and was constantly canceling on his girl at the last second. Feeling neglected is a dangerous game, and things only got worse when she heard some messy rumors. She started believing the rep never actually cared and was still hung up on Tuko. The timeline finally adds up as they look back at the university festival prep. It was her birthday, and she was crying alone on a bench when the antagonist finally made his move. Kamakura played a cold game in the flashback, catching her at her absolute lowest. She never wanted things to go that far, but the damage was done. Truth comes spilling out as she admits how the isolation finally broke her. Apologies fill the room while the secret is finally laid bare. Rebuilding their bond starts with clearing the air once and for all. This couple is stuck in a loop of guilt as they try to pick up the pieces. Choosing peace over a total breakdown shows how mature their connection really is. Since they have been together so long, they are willing to try for a fresh start. Neutrality is required by his official position as Circle President. However, he promises to handle the fallout once the plan inevitably goes off the rails. Violence is the one hard limit for this mission. Yu locks in the deal, keeping the focus on a clean tactical roast. Betrayal stares him in the face through the screen, making the goal clear. He knows Tuko is likely feeling the same burn, and he is ready to end this game forever. Senpai was definitely acting strange back then. The realization hits our boy like a freight train as he wonders if she actually wants to forgive that snake and make up. He tries to shake it off, but the doubt is already starting to sink in. The big day is finally here. Karen is hyping up the massive prizes for the best couple event, but Yu is locked in on something else entirely. He knows exactly what that prize is, because it is a key part of the trap they have been setting for weeks. Everything has been leading up to this moment. The squad put in countless hours of work, from strategy meetings at the cafe to fine-tuning the details on their screens, ensuring the operation was bulletproof. After winning over Nakazaki and securing his help, the pieces finally fell into place. The stage is set, and they have reached the point where the plan can finally go live. Even with everything ready, the vibes are starting to get heavy. Tuko has been getting quieter and more distant lately, and Yu can't help but wonder if his partner in crime is starting to lose her nerve. The Christmas party is officially popping off. One of the circle leaders takes the stage to get the hype going, and the room is packed with people ready to end the year with a bang. Yuri-san spots the pair and drops a Merry Christmas, immediately asking if Yu and Karen are the real deal. Yu plays it cool, calling their pairing a temporary setup, while the other singles in the room hunt for a little holiday romance. This party has a strict +1 rule, meaning everyone had to pair up just to get through the door. Between the actual couples and the temporary partners, the room is full of people looking for a good time. Karen thinks this party is a waste of time for single people since most of the crowd is already paired up. Yu mentions that these secret reveals are actually the ultimate wingman for new couples to form. Karen talks down on anyone who rushes into a relationship while dragging Yu off to find some food. Our MC is just stunned by how hypocritical she can be without even flinching. Looking over at the buffet, Tuko seems to be thriving in her role as the group chef. Everything is moving perfectly toward the end game of their mission. The party lead gets the crowd hyped as the revelation event officially kicks off. Behind the scenes, Yu gets the final cue for when he needs to step onto the stage. The room is already losing it after a participant drops a hilariously embarrassing childhood secret. This sideshow is supposed to be all jokes and fun for the audience. Changing the revelation schedule to be open-ended this year was a calculated move. This little tweak ensures their own reveal hits with maximum force when the time is right. The energy in the room keeps climbing as the announcer calls for the next person to take the microphone. Ishida notices the heavy mood and tells Yu to cheer up since he is about to get exactly what he wanted. This dude brushes it off, thinking his friend is just overreacting to the situation. Ishida mentions that once the big breakup happens, Tuko will finally be back on the market. Yu just breaks out in a cold sweat as the reality of the plan starts sinking in. Over by the organizers, everyone is already betting on Tuko and her boyfriend to sweep the couple contest. They even prepped the grand prize with the assumption that those two would be the ones winning. Yu stays locked in on the goal, realizing that making his rival pay requires involving another man. He is ready to execute a play that will cause the most pain possible. The hype hits a new level as the Master of Ceremonies takes the stage and announces it is finally time to vote. She reminds the guests to use their ballots to pick the top pair out of the 12 finalists. As the speeches kick off, the Circle traditional annual event officially begins. Standing in the crowd with Karen, you cannot help but feel like the whole ranking system is in pretty bad taste. The next pair takes the mic and the girl immediately baits the crowd by announcing she is actually single and available. Ishida just stands there while she treats their couple speech like a speed dating intro. The stage presence of the current duo is basically a comedy routine and the crowd is eating it up. You can only watch from the side with a deadpan expression while wondering why everyone is so into this. With their turn coming up, Karen checks in on their game plan for the couple speech. Yu decides to let her take the lead, and she happily accepts the challenge. Karen steps up and turns on the charm immediately, wishing everyone a Merry Christmas. She drops a wholesome line about how everyone should be happy whether they have a partner or just good friends. She keeps the energy high by asking the crowd if they are ready for some holiday surprises. Our girl is really working the room, suggesting they all put their support behind the happy couples. The guys in the audience are losing their minds over how cute she is, basically ready to hand her their votes on a silver platter. Karen leans in close to Yu to keep up appearances, leaving him feeling the heat from her popularity. Next up is the main event, and Tetsuya takes the mic with a confident smirk. He starts his speech by playing it humble, claiming his pair is just the opening act for the night. He quickly drops the act and tells everyone to just write down his and Tuko's names on their ballots. According to him, there are only two types of couples in the world, them and everyone else. Tetsuya finishes his set with a confident grin, leaving the audience in high spirits. Yu can only watch from the crowd, amazed at the sheer audacity of the guy's performance. Karen's eyes narrow as she drops a bombshell question. She wants to know if anything happened between him and Tuko. Our boy starts sweating when Karen mentions the campus queen has been keeping her eyes on him. He tries to laugh it off, but she is not convinced. Karen starts roasting Tuko's public image, calling her a master at manipulating the guys around her. She thinks the rich girl persona is just a cover for her true nature. The jealousy is real as she breaks down every little thing she hates about Tuko's style. Seeing the queen bee get so much attention is clearly getting under her skin. After Karen finishes her rant, it is time for everyone to lock in their picks. Ballots are filled out and tossed into the box as the tension in the room builds. The MC returns to the mic to announce that the results are in. They are starting the countdown from 5th place, and the audience leans in to see who made the cut. Yu and Karen take 5th place. Our boy is stunned. They even ranked after his mid-speech, but the MC reveals he is actually a hit with the ladies. The prize for their middle-of-the-pack finish is a fuzzy teddy bear. Yu tries to hype up the bear, but Karen is clearly bummed about the low ranking. He figures she is just over it, since he already gave her a similar gift before. She moves on to 3rd place and looks completely caught off guard by the next result. In a wild twist, the 3rd place spot goes to Ishida and herself. Ishida is dying of laughter, asking who even thought of voting for them as a couple. Yu reflects on his friend's hidden riz, while the winners bicker over a bookstore gift card. Ishida suggests they just go on a bookstore trip together to split the value. Seeing them vibe so well, Yu starts to suspect there might be a real spark between those two. Kazumi is clearly loving the energy. A pair of chill senpais take 2nd place with a set of matching cups. Our boy notes they have a mature vibe that actually makes him a bit jealous. Then comes the main event. Tetsuya and Tuko are crowned the winners, taking home a prize that makes the whole room buzz. The grand prize is a one-night stay at a top-tier luxury hotel starting tonight. The crowd loses it over the romantic setting. Yu watches from the sidelines, knowing exactly what kind of perfect night Tetsuya has planned. Tetsuya is practically glowing since he knew this prize was coming. He has no idea his little victory lap is about to hit a brick wall. Yu stares at Tuko, wondering if she actually wants to go through with their plan, or if she is still holding on to something for Tetsuya. Tetsuya tries to claim the vouchers for his private night with Tuko, but Kazumi steps in to check him. She calls him out for being less than a gentleman in front of the entire crowd. Tetsuya finally folds and agrees to hand both luxury vouchers over to Tuko. Kazumi works the crowd like a pro, framing his defeat as a total gentleman move to get everyone on their side. She flashes a cheeky wink as the trap officially snaps shut. The crowd erupts into cheers as the announcer confirms Tuko is taking home the grand prize. Yu watches from the sidelines, impressed by how smoothly Kazumi manipulated the entire situation. Without missing a beat, Kazumi turns the mic toward Tuko for the next phase. The energy in the room shifts instantly as Kazumi asks Tuko if she has something she wants to say to the group. Tuko locks in with a look of pure determination that says she is ready for war. Our boy knows this is the moment they have been planning for all along. Tetsuya is sweating bullets as he realizes the mood is getting weirdly tense. He tries to get Tuko's attention, but she is already completely in the zone and ignoring him. On the screen behind them, a secret presentation starts up with a single click of a mouse. Tuko takes center stage with the microphone while the secret revelation banner glows on the screen. Tetsuya looks like he is about to see his entire life flash before his eyes as he stands there frozen. She tells the audience there is something important they all need to hear. The night takes a sharp turn as a new chapter begins with a high-stakes announcement. Karen looks lost as the announcer calls Yu up to the stage. Our boy lets out a confused sound while the mood in the room hits a breaking point. Yu turns his back on Karen and walks toward the stage with a look of pure coldness. This is the moment he has been waiting for after weeks of planning. The crowd starts buzzing as they watch a random student join the campus power couple on stage. Tetsuya looks like he is trying to process the situation, while the energy turns toxic. Nobody has any idea what is about to hit them. Tuko takes a deep breath and grips the microphone like it is a weapon. She stands tall beside Yu and prepares to drop a bomb on the silent crowd. She starts the call out by introducing herself to everyone. The trap finally snaps shut as Tuko announces she is dumping Tetsuya in front of the entire group. Revenge is being served cold while the senior looks like his world just imploded. Yu takes the mic and follows up with his own haymaker. He looks straight ahead and dumps Karen, while she watches from the crowd clutching her prize. The double breakup leaves the room in a state of shock. Chaos breaks out as everyone tries to make sense of the sudden relationship carnage. The whispers turn into a roar as students realize the two stable couples just blew up. People are questioning if this is even real life. Tetsuya starts panicking and tells Tuko to keep her distance. He looks like a deer in headlights while trying to process why the vibe just died. Tuko looks him dead in the eyes and asks if he really has no clue what he did. Tetsuya plays the victim card and asks why she is being so weird. Our boy is done being a bystander and steps up to the mic. He tells everyone he is taking over so Tuko does not have to deal with this clown alone. The trap finally snaps shut as Yu drops the truth bomb on the entire circle. He points to the screen and calls out Tetsuya for cheating with Karen. Tetsuya and Karen look like their whole world just imploded as the truth comes out. The silence in the room is heavy. Karen starts spiraling and screams that everything is a total lie. She tries to play the innocent victim while the crowd watches her breakdown. Yu is not buying the performance for a single second. He stares her down and asks her to explain the next photo that is about to pop up. Yu keeps the pressure on and points out this photo was taken on her own birthday. He asks if she just goes around kissing every guy she runs into. Karen starts reaching for the most classic excuse ever and blames the camera angle. She tries to pivot the heat and claims Tuko is the one manipulating him. Our boy keeps his cool and explains how he and Tuko caught them while waiting outside the apartment. Karen keeps trying to interrupt and scream that none of this is true. The girl tries to play the victim card by claiming she was forced to drink and did not know what was happening. This performance is so fake that even the senior looks confused. She doubles down on the innocence act and demands they stop the presentation immediately. The audacity to call this an unsightly display is next level. Yu pulls out the final receipts and displays her private chat logs for everyone to see. He asks her if she was also drunk when she was sending all those thirsty messages. The crowd is officially turning on her as the whispers start spreading through the room. It looks like she finally ran out of lies to tell. Karen flips the script and calls our boy a pervert for checking her phone without permission. She screams that he is absolutely gross and tries to gaslight the entire room. She points a finger at the stage and accuses Yu of cheating with Tuko this whole time. I can see right through it all. She yells as a desperate last resort. Kazumi and Ishida step up to kill that rumor immediately. They explain that every meeting between Yu and Tuko was strictly for gathering evidence and sharing information. Ishida confirms he was there for their meetings, and even the other circle members are done with the drama. Karen, just stop this already. One girl says while the crowd watches. Kazumi calls her a total work of art for lashing out instead of apologizing. Nobody is falling for the fake tears after seeing the chat logs displayed on the screen. Karen clenches her teeth and clutches her teddy bear before letting out a scream. Do not fuck with me, you pieces of trash. She yells as her sanity finally breaks. The girl completely loses it and screams for everyone to die as she runs out of lies. She is finished, and she knows it. Karen loses it and yells at everyone to leave her alone. She turns on the other girls in the crowd and asks if they have not been doing the same thing themselves. The girl slams the door shut as she makes a quick exit from the party. Tuko stands her ground and asks Tetsuya if he finally understands what is happening. Tetsuya lets out a nervous laugh and claims the relationship was already over anyway. He tries to play it off as a joke and tells them they are taking it too far. Tuko looks at him with pure disgust and mocks his positive mindset. He can only stammer and tell her to calm down as the mood turns even colder. The guy clutches his head and tells her that she will never find a better match than him. He is still trying to manipulate her by saying she will regret breaking up. He offers a fake apology for the affair but says it is not really a big deal for a man. Tuko repeats his words back to him while her anger reaches a boiling point. Tuko asks him if he truly believes their feelings are that worthless. She calls him out for trying to wash away their sadness with a simple phrase while he keeps telling her to wait. Tuko lays into him, calling him out for treating Karen like a mere distraction. She asks if he even realizes how much he is insulting everyone by being so selfish. It is straight facts and he has no defense. Tetsuya starts sweating and tries to play the card that she is the only one he cares about. He tells her to stop being stubborn and listen, but his manipulation is failing hard. Tuko shuts it down instantly by telling him she is completely fed up. She wonders aloud how he can be so delusional about his own worth. The crowd starts whispering as she makes it clear they are never talking again. The final hammer drops as she tells him they are officially over. This dude's sanity is hanging by a thread as he screams that she belongs to him. He is refusing to let go, and Nagasaki can tell things are about to get ugly. The vibe in the room just turned dangerous. He lunges forward in a total panic, screaming that she does not get to decide when they break up. His ego is completely blown out and he is starting to lose control of his actions. Tuko tries to push Yu out of the way, but the confrontation is already becoming physical. Tetsuya is snarling and blaming our boy for everything that went wrong tonight. He clenches his fist as the rage takes over. He snaps and throws a punch right into the MC's face, screaming that Yu is the one who tricked Tuko. The blow lands hard and sends him straight to the floor as Tuko screams in horror. Nagasaki jumps in to stop the madness and tells him to remember where they are. Tetsuya is shocked that even his friend is turning against him now. The betrayal is hitting him hard. Nagasaki reminds him that everyone is watching his public meltdown. He can only grit his teeth as he realizes how pathetic he looks right now. This dude points right at our boy and asks Tuko if she is really choosing this bastard over him. He still thinks he is the only one suitable for her, which is just straight up delusional. Yu cannot believe he is still talking. Tetsuya starts roasting him for being nothing more than a basic commoner. He is desperate to drag Ishiki's name through the mud. The trash talk does not stop as he claims Ishiki has no redeeming qualities and is just boring. He even brings up Karen to try and validate his own ego. He screams about Ishiki being inexperienced with women to try and make himself look better. He has lost all control and is just grasping at straws at this point. Tuko has officially heard enough and screams for him to shut up. She is completely done with his noise. The digital exposure hits the big screen and the entire room is in shock. Nagasaki keeps a tight grip on the situation while the crowd watches the secret chat logs scroll by. Tuko takes a deep breath and centers herself before facing the music. Kazumi steps up and hands over the luxury hotel vouchers with a smug grin. Our boy is just standing there trying to process the chaos when he feels a sudden tug on his sleeve. Tuko leans in close and makes her move right in front of everyone. Tuko holds up the vouchers for the entire circle to see. She declares that she will be spending the night at the luxury hotel with our boy instead of Tetsuya. Tuko does not miss a beat, announcing to the whole room that she is taking our boy to the luxury hotel instead. The crowd is stunned as she effectively nukes her relationship in front of everyone. Tetsuya is straight up glitching, refusing to believe his queen is dumping him for a guy he thinks is a total commoner. He is sweating buckets as he stammers that this has to be some kind of sick joke. The dude starts throwing a full-blown tantrum, yelling that someone like you is not even in the same league as Tuko. He even tries to demand the vouchers back, claiming they belong to him because he won the competition. Kazumi steps in to check his ego, reminding him that he already handed those tickets over and lost his rights to them. She is not having any of his nonsense, making it clear that Tuko can bring whoever she wants. Tetsuya realizes he walked right into a trap when he sees the smug face of Tuko's best friend. Tuko finally speaks up, cutting through his whining with a cold and final tone. She lets him have it, calling him out for having shallow standards and praising our boy for being actually sincere. She makes it clear that his toxic opinions do not mean anything to her anymore. Tetsuya completely loses his mind, screaming that he will not allow this and that Tuko belongs to him alone. Nagasaki finally steps in to physically restrain him, telling the bro to get a grip because it is already over. Tetsuya is losing it, demanding Nagasaki let him go while claiming nobody understands how serious he is about Tuko. Nagasaki is not budging, telling the bro to just end it already. The tension peaks when Nagasaki calls out to Rumi, who is standing right there in the crowd. Tetsuya looks like he just saw a ghost, realizing his secret side piece is witnessing his entire downfall. Tuko drops the final hammer, asking him if he really thought Karen was the only girl he could mess around with. She stares him down with zero pity as his lies continue to unravel. Suddenly, other girls in the crowd start speaking up, revealing that he tried the same slick lines on them too. The dude's reputation is officially in the gutter as everyone sees him for the serial cheater he is. Tuko makes it clear that they can't just ignore the people he hurt with his thoughtless actions. She tells him straight up that it is only natural for her to walk away from someone like him. Tetsuya collapses to his knees in total defeat as Tuko turns her back on him for good. She calmly grabs our boy's hand and tells him it is time to go, leaving the loser in the dust. The antagonist screams her name one last time as they walk through the doors, but they do not even look back. With their hands firmly joined, they leave the party behind and head toward their destination. Tuko-senpai, Yu mutters while watching her walk ahead. He is definitely sweating as he tries to figure out what is actually going on in her head. They pull up to an upscale luxury hotel that looks way too expensive for a regular night out. Yu is floored by the scale of the place while Tuko calmly approaches the front desk to check them in. Senpai handles the paperwork with zero hesitation, leaving this dude standing there like a deer in headlights. He can only manage a few confused sounds as the reality of the situation finally sinks in. The ride up the elevator is awkward because she has not said a single word since they left the party. Her cold expression is definitely not helping his nerves as they reach their floor. As they walk down the quiet hallway, Yu is thinking 100 miles an hour trying to guess her next move. The sharp click of the card key means there's officially no turning back. Tuko takes a seat on the edge of the bed and tells him to come over. Yu cautiously steps into the room, his heart probably doing backflips as the door shuts behind them. She reaches out and gently tilts his head up to get a better look at his face. The tension breaks when she notices the blood on his lip from getting punched earlier. She tells him not to worry about the injury while he jokes that a little lick will fix it. Wiping his lip gently, she apologizes for being the reason he got hit in the first place. Senpai takes a seat on the edge of the bed with the Tokyo skyline glowing through the window behind her. Our boy's heart is thumping like crazy as he tries to find his voice. He asks if she is truly okay with how things ended with her ex, but she just admits the breakup was already a done deal. The mood shifts when she mentions that him actually coming to this hotel with her is a whole different matter. Yu is flushed and blurts out an apology for the awkwardness. Tuko gets flustered as well, fiddling with her fingers while admitting that the current situation is intense. She finally tells him he can start by taking a shower first. Yu is stunned and can only wonder if this is actually for real. Under the running water, he leans against the shower wall and tries to get his head on straight. The fact that he is about to spend the night with her is finally starting to sink in. The pressure is getting to him. He is second-guessing if he should even be here with these types of feelings. The mood gets heavy when she drops a bomb by apologizing to him out of nowhere. The impulse that brought her here finally wore off and she decides it is time to head home. She realized she just cannot go through with it. Our boy gets hit with the ultimate curveball. She admits that she is saving herself for marriage. The realization starts to sink in. If she is saving herself, then it means she was never actually intimate with her ex either. His brain is basically short-circuiting right now. She reveals she was planning to give her first time to Tetsuya tonight just to mess with his head. She starts panicking and apologizing for playing with his emotions. He lets her know that everything is perfectly fine. Yu flashes a bright smile while thanking Tuko for being his light in the dark. He admits that he would have hit rock bottom after the cheating scandal if it wasn't for her guidance. This journey was only possible because she gave him a goal to chase. Tuko returns the sentiment with a soft blush. She confesses that his constant support was the only thing that kept her standing through the chaos. Having him by her side really meant the world to her. A loud ringtone suddenly breaks the mood. Tuko checks her phone and realizes her dad is outside to pick her up. She has to make a quick exit, leaving Yu standing there as she rushes off. With their revenge plan officially wrapped up, Yu knows there is no logical reason to keep hanging out. He takes a leap of faith and asks if they can keep seeing each other anyway. Tuko gives him a playful reminder about the hotel checkout time before promising to reach out. As she leaves, the weight of the night finally lifts. Yu can't help but let out a laugh as the long battle finally comes to an end. He is still processing the bombshell she dropped about her private life. He never expected her to have an ace like that up her sleeve. It turns out his ex-senpai just couldn't handle the weight. Because he was too impatient to stay faithful, he ended up losing the one thing he actually wanted. Yu finally laughs it off, deciding to leave the past in the dirt while he moves forward. He gets one last dig in, calling that guy a total idiot. Looking toward the future, Yu makes a silent promise to level up and become a man worthy of Tuko. With a sweet smile from the campus queen, the narration confirms that their real story is only just getting started. That's it for today, guys. If you made it to the end, drop a NTR in the comments so I know you're real ones. Don't forget to like and subscribe, it really helps the channel grow. Until then, keep on cooking.